All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Listen, thank you so much for showing up to the live. As you know, I got Mr. Guest Star Ken Clark in the building, still waiting on him because I started a couple minutes early, right? So I still got about 3 minutes before he got to be on here. But I wanted to start the live early just to let y'all know. All right, one or two things really. One, I'm going to try out the call-in thing. I've been setting it up. Got help from a couple people to help me set up the call-in because I want to hear y'all voices in real time and I want to talk in real time. So we're gonna try it out after we're done breaking down the recruiting class. So I'm going to just need like one person to call in. If it works, we'll rock out all night. If it doesn't, we'll fix that for next time because I want to have it done in time for Coach Prime Season 2 so we can talk about that documentary after watching it, excuse me. Number 2, my sister leaves her dogs here, right? When she comes and picks them up and they see that car pull up, they gonna bark. They gonna bark. Y'all gonna hear that? I'm sorry. They bark like they out of their mind. All right, when that happens, I get up, let them outside because I don't even want to hear it. All right, and I'll get back to the stream. Just putting y'all on game now so y'all ain't even surprised when it happens. All right, because, that's just what she do. I got to look after my sister. Y'all know that. All right, so we got a couple minutes till he get up in here. But I'm excited. Thank y'all for showing up. Y'all show out, man. That's why I love y'all. Like I said, for those of you who are just coming in, we are going to try the call-in. We are going to try the call-in at the end of the live, okay? We're going to try it. Can't guarantee it'll work, right? But I'm hoping it will because I do want to hear y'all's voices. And, I want us to talk about some stuff, hear your thoughts on a few things, and, so we can get it cracking like that. What's going on, Waldo? Keontae, what's good with you? Shad, hey, I appreciate y'all showing up. I am Shanetta. I appreciate your support. You know that. Jermaine, what's good? We in here. All right. Ken got like a minute. Coach Simmons, my boy. Hey, Script, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you helping me out with that. I needed that. So we're gonna try to see if it worked after the show. But I appreciate you helping me out because I was lost. I was really lost. Real talk, how you doing? Halftime season. How do you like JSU's new facility so far? So listen, I only saw the locker room. And I love it because that is what you need, right, to compete with these big schools. It seems like they're taking care of the facility problem, so that's not really something we need to be worried about anymore. And now it's just the schedule. Like now, you just got to be on point with the schedule, and you're Gucci. You're Gucci, right? Because you're addressing everything else. But I only see the locker room so far, so Like I said, y'all, we waiting on Ken. That's it. Why are we waiting on? Who are y'all most excited to see in this recruiting class? Shout out to my boy Raw Truth Media. Hey, y'all know his channel is one of the premier channels on YouTube. Go subscribe to him. Check him out. If you're an NBA fan like I am, I'm a fan of the Ball brothers, so that's who I go to for my news, right? So if you're an NBA fan on top of watching HBCU football, you need to go subscribe to Raw Truth Media because he be on it with his takes. I promise you. Jason, go get it. Hey, thank you so much for becoming a member, my boy. Welcome to the Legion. You always appreciate it. JSU Tigers. I know y'all was going to be in here for this one. Honestly, everyone from Jackson State to Texas Southern. Hey, shut up. Tavion Beasley, in my opinion, is the most underrated signing in Jackson State's class. To me, he's more battle-tested than Travis Hunter. You can make that case. You could really make that case. He's more battle tested than Travis Hunter. So I could say you expect him to get playing time in his freshman year. I'm not saying he'll start. You still got Kev Wiggins in that slot, right? But I think he'll see some playing time in his freshman year. Highly underrated. Shout out to Swacking the Food. Hey, listen, I shouldn't even have to tell y'all about Swacking the Food's channel. Y'all know what it is with them. All right, very entertaining, right? They keep y'all covered from football to basketball. They just keep going. I just love their show, man. It's so consistent and it's so entertaining. That's why I stay tuned into them. So shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all for being in here. Where this man Ken at now? Oh, I'm about to hit him up. All the recruits. Mark Pope. See, here's the thing with Mark Pope. Right? I'm excited because his speed is electrifying. We know this, right? But a lot of Miami fans were saying like he had the drops throughout his whole career in Miami. You feel me? So if he can fix that, he's dynamic. You expect to see him on the field, of course, too. But I need to see it. Like that's why I can't wait for spring ball to get here. I need to see it. Like I need to see so much things. I need to know how kids are adapting to that JSU system. I need to see it all. I have to see it all. All right, Ken say he's trying to get in. Said he's trying to get in. I don't know. Got to be something on his side. It ain't me. Man's got an off day. Hey, you know that. You know how we get down on these off days now. Come on, Tank. You know I'd be happy to be off, man. Quay Davis about to go crazy. Listen, I am betting the house on Quay Davis. Like I've been on that man since I dropped the news of him. Right? I'm ready. I'm ready to see him in action. He should be the number one receiver. Well, it's Malachi is right, but it should be a battle taking place. All right, there we go. What's going on,
bro? What's up, man?
Hey,
what's the word on it, brother?
Listen, man, I appreciate you for coming on now. I appreciate you, fam. You know, we've been talking. I'm meaning to get you on the channel. Thank you so much for being there.
All right, man. All love, brother. I appreciate you for having me on, man. Sorry about that. Had a little technical difficulties, but I'm in here now. You know,
ain't no problem. We in. So, guys, this is Mr. Ken Clark, the special guest from the illustrious Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. All right, the podcast that gives you the latest updates and everything Jackson State related. They be on it. They know more than I do, right? I get some of my information from them. You feel me? Like that's why I'm tuned into them. They're the originals of that. So, got to give respect to where respect is due. So, Ken, I want to start things off because I'm really interested to know what are your thoughts on this recruiting class now that it's pretty much almost done.
First, before we get into that, man, appreciate you. Again, like I said, we thank you for having me on for all your listeners and those that support your channel and your movement, man. We've been talking a good little minute, but again, Ken Clark with Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club, like Kobe just stated. We're not audio. We're not visual. We're more audio. So if you got Spotify, Apple Music, Anchor, any of those audio style podcast shows, pull up Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club, man. Tap in. We got over 200 plus shows already on tap. So if you want to get in and jump right away, we got some more dope shows coming alone. But today we talking about recruiting, man. That's something I love to talk about, something I'm tapped into pretty heavily. First thing first, Kobe, I thought the signing class was a slam dunk home run, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this was an absolute phenomenal job by the coaching staff. Coach Prime and his staff did an outstanding job. First and foremost, landing the number one player in the country. Honestly, in my opinion, if all we signed was Travis Hunter, it would have been a win, man. Because the reality of it is that that's something that we all witnessed. Myself, you, everybody that's in this HBCU space. Not only have we never seen a number one player sign with an FCS school, we've never seen him sign with HBCU. So it's kind of like a dream come true. We're still riding that wave, but they had some needs that needed to be addressed in this class. Anytime you're assessing a signing class, you got to know first and foremost, we're not an FBS school. FBS schools get 85 scholarships, so they're going to always sign a lot more players than FCS schools.
Right.
We carry FCS programs usually carries about 63. Not too long ago, we had a little from the previous regime. We kind of had we lost a scholarship and a half, so we're working with about 61 and a half scholarships. So I just wanted to preface with that. With that being said, we brought in a really big class when Coach Prime first got here. So we settled around 20 plus, a little over 20 signees in this class. I like to say it this way, bro. This was a needs-centric signing class. We just don't have the numbers like I said, like some FBS schools or some of the other some of our rivals or counterparts in the conference. They may have had more scholarships, but for us, given what we needed, given what everybody was saying all year long that we needed to shore up, more specifically the offensive line. The only thing I would say that I personally wish we would have done a little bit better with, not a little bit better with, it was only one other player that I wish we would have signed, and that's Lasala Ty, the JUCO transfer out of Snow College. Man, when he put the BYU hat on, I was like,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm telling you, we listen. We had Shamar Stewart. I don't care what nobody says. Shamar Stewart was this close to sign. He's this close to coming to 1,400.
Tell it, because I'm telling you, people they believe it. Tell it.
I don't care what nobody say. I'm telling you right now. I'll say this because I'm not gonna, I ain't gonna get no trouble now because it's over with now, So, but up until the night before, man, we were very, very optimistic, and I think we saw some activity with Coach Prime on social media. I think a lot of that pointed to the fact that we were in the ball game. Now, whatever they decide to do on their side, I wish the kid the best. But this is kind of how we do when we're in the game. If they don't sign with us, we just move on. It's like, all right, man, we almost had him. I thought Shamar was more of a man that would have just kicked the water out of the pond. It would have been that shocking all that all of us wanted. But it didn't make or break the class, in my opinion, because we signed the likes of Travis Hunter, and then to follow Travis Hunter signing up. Because that's like some could say, well, he idolized Deion. He was going to go to Florida State because of Deion. And then Deion talked to him. People started circulating false information on how we got him. Coach Prime going to tell us about that soon when he released the documentary. But when you get a Kevin Coleman, somebody that none of us saw, he wasn't on my radar. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to your audience. It's a Saturday All-American game, and he pops up with a J hat on the table and throw the jacket on, and we like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And that was like, wow, that made the Travis Hunter signing all the more official when he committed to the class. Those are the two ESPN top 100 players. Like I said, that's unprecedented. We've never seen that happen before. And Kobe, let's be real. Usually when we get those players in times past, it was because they went to an FBS school, something might have happened, something might have been a little issue. You know what I'm saying? The allegation, but to get them on the front end and for them to choose us, that goes to what Coach Prime came to Jackson State for and what his mission has been since day one, and that is to level the playing field.
Right.
I know we've been pushing the J hat Shout out to Tiger Nation and all of the 1,400 club members and family. But I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I want to see a G hat on the table. I want to see a SU hat on the table. I want to see
Nice.
Alabama hat because that's what leveling the playing field is. Because if it's just Jackson State, hey man, we really haven't made progress. But it's strength in numbers, and this is a collective movement. I know many of the Tiger Nation don't like to hear that, and I had to have a mental adjustment. Coach Prime had to correct my thought process and think about it's bigger than just Jackson State. But we're here to talk about Jackson State, so that's my little intro. But home run, slam dunk, need-centric class. I thought this was a heck of a job. We're sitting at number 68 in the country for signing classes on 247 Sports, and then we're sitting like 2.2 points behind Arizona State. So that's a good look, man. Even though we finished 54 last year, to be at 68 with the transfer route, with the way they changed the transfer, they changed the way they factored in transfers. So that affected everyone across the board. But to be sitting right around 68 with a few more scholarships left over, a few more opportunities to bring in some more players, I think the coaches did a phenomenal job.
And Ken, I want to address this before we even move on to the next question, right? Because a lot of times I see where kids will be like a 4-star and then they commit to a Jackson State or Alabama A&M and they just drop a star. Like, is that a real thing? Like, does that happen because they come down to FCS?
It's a very real thing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna actually quote the wide receiver that we actually had. I think we made an offer to Gremlin. Gremlin signed the kid out of I forget his name, but he's out of New Orleans, signed with Gremlin, and he made a post saying, "Hey, I find it funny that he started losing your stars after you commit to an HBCU." But here's the thing: stars are usually based off offers. So for most people that don't understand that, when you have, let's just be real, but these are real people that's actually doing this stuff.
Right.
When Coach Prime came to the HBCU ranks into the space, I was, man, you know me, I'm outspoken. So I started sending communication to, like, I would call out the Steve Wilforms and these guys that are actually putting real data into 247 Sports, because I'm like, say, man, when you gonna update our page, man? You got false data, you got inaccurate data. I mean, when Alabama or someone else moves, you move and update it. So I still feel like this is to another element to that. Another piece to that is right now, Jackson State, because of what we did last year, is somewhat very accurate. But when you go to the Alabama A&M signing class or the Grambling signing class, you might not see that necessarily be all the way accurate on their site. So we still got work to do there. But there is a very, very, very real thing when players decide that they want to commit to an HBCU or something like that. You know why they drop the stars, Kobe?
Wow.
It's because of class rankings. When you drop the stars or when you drop the rankings of that particular individual player, it keeps us marginalized and keeps us at a certain level. You never want to see, but this is kind of what Jackson State did to get around that sort of kind of. We signed 3 high school players that was highly touted and highly ranked in the ESPN ranks, and that is Travis Hunter, Kevin Coleman, and Tavion Beasley. So it was that's a real thing, though. I mean, I think we would have to speak with someone that's willing to be honest about it. But this is no different than anything that we see happen. Anytime you start making progress, from a community standpoint for Black and brown people, man, there's always going to be obstacles in the way. We just kind of got to take it on the chin and continue to encourage the kids that if an HBCU makes you an offer, man, give that offer a serious look and don't devalue an HBCU offer or FCS or D2.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's value all offers, and there comes a point in time where the rankings go out of the door, man. We got record where you was a 4-star. As soon as you commit to Grambling or Jackson State, you drop to a 3-star. Hey, man, that's not a mistake. So what we do is before we see them do anything, we screenshot. That's what we do. We screenshot and save it. Be like, all right, so if they commit to us and it drops, then we like, all right, bro, just a few days ago, they ain't played no football now.
Right.
How they go from a 4 to a 3 and they ain't done nothing? You see what I'm saying? So there
Mm-hmm.
you go.
That's okay. That's crazy. Cause see, I just want to clear that up because I was thinking like, that's weird, but I'm not even surprised by it. So listen, what grade would you give this class? Cause see, I didn't even want to ask this question at first. I'm like, all right, you might be a little biased, but I mean, even you acknowledge, you wanted to see them do a little bit more something in one area, but you realize that this was a class that needed to address needs. So I want to know, like, what honest grade would you give this class?
If I'm being honest, A plus, and it's not because I got my blue glasses on. Again, I just made that point. Now I'm saying from a personal standpoint that I wanted LaSalle tie because I was looking at something. I kind of had my own little offensive line thing going on, man. So that was just. It was also because I had an opportunity to have a sit down conversation with Semi Moala. Had a really phenomenal interview with him. And one of the things that he expressed was his desire to see more Polynesian players give consideration to the HBCUs. That's a whole nother story within itself because Semi comes out grew up in over in the Hawthorne, Inglewood, California area, and when you're on the West Coast, HBCU, if knowledge and understanding is at a, I would say, isn't at a very high level. When you go and follow that interview, he'll tell you he didn't even know what Jackson State was, didn't know where it was at. He didn't know nothing about HBCU, and he's not alone. So for me, it was more about the movement of expanding into other areas. Yes, there are some Polynesian players that have played in HBCU ranks. I think back that I think Alcorn has some offensive linemen in times past that were Polynesian, but I like the kid, man. I mean, 6'8", 3'3", come on, bro. 6'8",
Huge.
315, man. Come on, bro. I personally wanted that. But to stick on point, to grade the class, I'm gonna say this again. Kobe, I am not over Travis Hunter.
Right.
We cannot just skate past that. I am not, I'm still in disbelief. I'm gonna be real with you. For all of those that I hope everybody when they get a chance, and for those that if they pick a game, you know that FAMU game is gonna be the game, baby. You know why? Because all season long, FAMU hung there. We only lost to Jackson State by 1 point. But this is the other thing, man. I just can't wait to see Travis Hunter actually get on the field with that Jackson State uniform on. It's gonna be box office. It's gonna be showtime. It's gonna be hype. It's gonna be starstruck, stars. The stars gonna come out, and I think it's gonna be must-see TV, man. So when you look at what we lost, let me get into the meat and potatoes of this. When you look at what we lost, we lost 3 starters on defense. Actually, 4. I'm sorry. When you lose a Keontae, who has been a staple for Jack State defense for the last 4 years, former SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. You lose James the Problem Houston, who I still feel was the best player in the SWAC from a defensive standpoint. No disrespect to Isaiah Land and the FAMU Rattlers. I just was looking more into. I understood the sack count and the tackle for loss. I felt like he had a really good game against a very, I would say, a lesser than opponent. But I was looking at like game-changing plays that James Houston made. The 7 forced fumbles is where he won me at. You know what I mean? He scored 2 touchdowns. So when you lose that kind of production on defense, and we lose Al Young, a starting cornerback who's physical, pretty much started the entire season. And who else did we lose from a starter? Antoine Owens. So we lose 4 starters on defense. And we lose 1 starter on offense. So 5 players, you got to look at the class and say, how did the coaches offset what we're losing? Well, we brought in a lot of edge rushers, man. A lot of edge rushers. I don't think you can replace a James Houston, but what you can do is you can spread across the productivity. I think they did a phenomenal job bringing in linebackers and edge rushers that's going to fit the scheme. And you and I both know, we may touch on this a little later, we are changing our offensive scheme. Yeah. So you know football. When you change the scheme, you go faster, you score quicker, you're looking to have a quick strike offense. That adversely applies pressure to your own defense. So you need more bodies, right? So you need more depth. So I think they address the defensive line, and and from a linebacker standpoint, cornerback standpoint, and defensive line. So every level of that we lost, the coaches actually upgraded, in my honest opinion. And then you couple that with 2 ESPN top 100 players. I think the coaches did a phenomenal job, man. It's hard to do it twice. The first time they'll say it's luck, but when you do it a second time, it's more intentional and it's more impactful. But we did it bigger. We did it much bigger. Last year was just, we had never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
We was like, man, how are we gonna top last year? Well, he just did something again that we ain't never seen. So you got to give him kudos for that. So A+ is my real grade, and it's not with my blue glasses on. Those are my real reasons as to why I feel like this class was an A+ from a coaching standpoint. And last thing, to do all of that, and we still have the capability of adding to this class. So A+, in my opinion.
Got you. Now, Ken, when you hear the name Tyson Alexander or a JD Martin or even like a Kevin May, you would think, okay, the running back position is fine, but there are still JSU fans who believe that like they needed to get a running back. Like when Zach Evans' name was in the portal, they were talking, we need to get Zach Evans, or we need to get Tavion Wilkinson from Delaware State, who's now with West Virginia. So
right.
Are you happy with the running back depth? Like, is in your opinion, is it fine, or should they have gone out and got another guy?
I think we did. We actually did go get another running back. We signed Marty Matthews, who was more of a physical style running back, similar to the same body type as the Tavion Wilkinson. I am a Tavion Wilkinson fan. I like that kid a lot. I thought he did some phenomenal things over with Delaware State. And I think he's going to do. I mean, it speaks to itself. Anytime you see a player go from an HBCU to a Power 5, it tells you what kind of caliber of talent that player is. But from a running back standpoint, to answer your question, man, we got 8 running backs. So I think I would say even 9. I can name them off. When you got that kind of depth at running back, and then when you're looking at the style of offense that we're going to run, we got the perfect style running back. I am ecstatic that Tyson Alexander is coming back, man. I'm a fan of Tyson Alexander. But for those who don't know Tyson Alexander came out of DeSoto High School over in Dallas, Texas. At DeSoto, Tyson played some wide receiver and running back. So when you look at the quote-unquote air raid offense that Coach Bartolone comes from out of Nevada, if that's the offense that we're going to run, that bodes perfectly well for us from a depth standpoint. You got a running back that can get up the field, that can actually run, hit the holes, got great vision and great hands. JD Martin was he actually played some wide receiver. So in JUCO, he played wide receiver as well as running back. So that's 2 running backs that can catch the ball. Greg Williams is returning. Donovan Hunt was not eligible. He'll be playing this year. You still got Tito, who has several starting reps last season. Then you factor in Kevin May, as you mentioned. You factor in Desmond Moultrie. I'm at 7. Then you factor in Marty Matthews, who we just signed. And I'm gonna give you a 9th name that nobody's talking about. His name is Caleb Jolivet. And that Caleb Jolivet is going to play some running back for us. That's a transfer who came in last year from Sam Houston State. So that's a track guy who at one time was actually labeled as the fastest person in the state of Texas. So we don't need. I think the reason why people are asking for that is because people are used to playing football a certain way. They're used to those physical downhill runners. You want the Ezekiel Elliott type running backs. But if we're being honest, the game of football is changing, brother. When you watch most NFL teams, they are usually 2, maybe sometimes 3 running backs. It's running back by committee. So there's nothing wrong with that approach. But the other thing too is if you love Ezekiel Elliott, I bet you if you're a Cowboys fan, you say Tony Pollard give you more production than Zeke Elliott, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
So in the offensive scheme that we're gonna run, man, we sit 9 running backs deep, man. How many more running backs? We gotta go get some big nasties up front to open some holes for them, man. We got 9 running backs.
And it's crazy because like I did a video on Caleb like a while back. I knew he was there, and I talked to him a little bit on Instagram. I didn't know y'all got him at the running back slot. I thought he was going to be.
He's going to play slot, run, and listen, he's going to play all that, man. H-back. He's going to play. So imagine, defenses decide they want to get aggressive, and you use that aggression against them. You get Caleb Jolivet out in the screen game. Hey, he can make some noise, man. That go your small scat back style. But speed kills, man. You can put speed anywhere on the field and be effective. So expect to see him in the slot. Expect to see him out of the backfield. But we got a lot of weapons, man. And those are the 9 that I can give you as of right now. I don't think I missed anyone, but yeah, 9 running backs on tap right now.
Okay. So with all these guys in the recruiting class, right? And I figure you might say Travis Hunter, but I still want to ask you, who are you most excited to see play that's not named Travis Hunter or Kevin Coleman? Because
I'll give you 5 names.
Oh, give it to me.
Simi Moala, Jasper Freeze,
the Germany kid. Okay.
Zach Bro, Evan Henry, Cornelius Henderson, Sean Vardaman. What do they all have in common, Kobe? Offensive linemen. That's what I'm excited about. Because I'm just being honest. I mean, we know the quarterback position is secured. You know what I mean? We added some depth there. But our Achilles heel, man, was the O-line. And then here's the beautiful thing about the whole thing. I see somebody mention Quay Davis. I'm gonna get there. Just let me eat into this thing, baby. I'm gonna get there. But that Quay Davis was a part of last year's class. He been on tap. See, they giving my answers away before I get started, man. But I'm saying out of this class, I think the defense, we still got some of the staples on defense. I think defense is gonna be better. But I'm excited to see how that O-line is going to jail as one, because we all know that when it comes to offensive line and you running a air raid style offense, the splits are a lot wider. So you got to be you really have to be in harmony as one unit. So it's the big nasties up front, man, that I'm excited to see how well that's going to bode well for us. And then let's keep in mind, all 5 of our starters are returning. We still got Cedric Dunbar. We still got, Kurt Floyd got hurt toward the end of the season, but he's back. You still got Caleb Graham. You still got Demetri Jordan. You still got Tony Gray. So we're sitting about 11 to 12 deep at the offensive line position. I hope we add about maybe 3 more bodies. That's my hope, but we'll see.
And honestly, I love that just for competition's sake. Coach Prime really, he stick to that saying, you got to earn that spot every week. Ain't nothing given. We always find people to replace you. I love that he said that. Like, I think it's a great thing. Competition really does bring out the best in you, right? So it's like, are you going to go to keep your job, or we going to bring somebody in that can take it from you? Like, I love it.
Man, this is sports, man. This is athletics. We've been competing all our life, man, and it don't stop once you get to the college level. Like I say, there's a saying: stars go out the door when you get to school, man. You got to go out there and establish yourself, on a whole nother level. Everybody on the roster was a big fish at their high school, so you got to go out there and compete, and just know that when that first wave is over, Coach Prime is looking to bring in a whole nother batch of young men to come in and take your spot. So you got to be willing to bring it each and every day.
Now that we know who are your most excited, the people you're most excited to watch play, I want to know who, in your opinion, who's the sleeper signing? People, I want to know. Because for me, it's Tavion, but I want to know. I want to know yours.
Tavion, I like a lot, man. I think Tavion comes from an amazing high school program. He's out here in California, St. John Bosco. Played, man. He played against the best team in high school, which is that of Mater Dei, who finished 12-0. They wound up losing to them in this past season. But if I had to pick a sleeper, my sleeper signing would be Frankie Burgess.
All right. Okay. See, I'm glad you brought that name up. I was gonna bring him up later, but when I saw Frankie, I said, like, watching his tape, right? That little practice film that he got on this back when he was in Maryland, and I saw that little shoulder dip move. I see the Euro step. I'm like, I'm not gonna put that pressure on him to match James Houston's production. But if anybody could do it, if anybody can live it, it's him.
I think I'm gonna throw something at you. I don't think we're gonna use him like that. I think we're gonna use him more of an interchangeable D lineman to kind of replace the production of Antoine Owens. The James Houston replacement, in my opinion, is going to be Antonio Doyle. I think Antonio Doyle, 6'4", 245 pounds, chiseled like a brick house right now, man, with speed and agility coming off the edge, a former four-star high school player. I think you're going to see a lot of what you saw with James Houston. Let's keep in mind, man, James Houston's my little brother, man. I'm so happy for him and rooting for his success. But James Houston was a stand-up linebacker when he got to Jackson State, and the coaching staff told him, "Hey, man, you got a gift of you got and from what I was told, James Houston didn't want to switch to that side. But I think we all can agree that was a good switch for him, right? Because it shows his ability to be versatile. So when it comes to Burgess, in my opinion, I like his size. I mean, he's interchangeably. You can run him off the edge, and you can put his hand in the dirt, in my opinion. And it provides speed, quick twitch. It provides flexibility on the D line. And I think he got the attributes that's going to create some problems. The reason why I say sleeper is because the style of defense that we play, we got a lot of bodies that are returning. So it's going to be interesting to see how the coaches decide to use him. That's my him and Micah, please. But I'm going to say Burgess right now.
Got you. Now, Ken, before we last question before we really get into this class.
Yep.
Keelan Kennedy, I'm a little confused by him, right? Because when I go on 24/7 and it may not be updated, I still see him like on the class. But when I get on Twitter, I seen he chose West Florida.
Signed with West Florida. So I don't have the backstory for that. Only thing I can say is I feel like maybe West Florida he felt was the best choice for him to immediately play and get on the field. I'm not gonna say anything other than that because I don't know. I was expecting to see him sign, but when I saw him sign with West Florida, I was like, okay, well, we wish you the best. And I just say, hey, man, go be great. He chose. And that's the thing about signing day that people got to understand. Commitments is just one aspect of this thing. Signing day, what makes it important is they have to sign their letter of intent and actually send it into the school. We don't get nothing if you just commit to us and get all the hype. And then when signing day come, you a no-show. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or you go sign with someone else. But Keelan Kennedy, man, #1 JUCO corner on many reports. Very physical, fast. He had ability to. He was going to be a help in the return game. But I think West Florida got a really good player. And listen, man, West Florida is a phenomenal D2 program. All respect to those D2s, man. Because hey, man, Delta State gave us all we can handle and then some.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we had a player that was playing for Delta State over at the NFLPA Bowl, man. So Delta State had Falk. I forget his first name, but he was a DB safety. Last name Falk, man. Played for Delta State. Matter of fact, I met the Delta State coach when I was walking into the stadium, man. He was there for his they had one player. So and so did West Florida. West Florida actually had a player out there as well. I don't have the name right now, but if you go check the roster, you'll see. So those D2 programs such as West Florida and Delta State, those schools are really good. It's Bowie State is a HBCU D2. I want to say Valdosta. It's Valdosta. Is Valdosta D3? I don't know. I think they're D2.
I think they D.
But
Yeah,
if they're not
D2.
They either D2 or D3. But I know those are some tough programs, man. And they got a really tough player in Keelan Kennedy.
Now,
maybe just maybe the Travis Hunter signing might have had something to do with that. We don't know, or maybe it was something else that we aren't privy to. But I would love to see him pop up on an interview and tell his own story. But all the best to Keelan Kennedy. We wish him the best.
I get it. I get it. Now, getting into the first part of this 2022 recruiting class that everybody seemed to have concerns with. Every other video of every receiver or defensive guy y'all got. What about the offensive line? What about the offensive line? So we got to get that out the way first, right? Now, two guys come to mind, right? Evan Henry, I got a chance to talk to a lot. He watches the podcast, and then went out and got Zach Bro as well. I didn't know.
Which was a shocker. That was a shocker. I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see it coming. So you got two of the guys from ULM. Tell us a little bit about those guys.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I see Blue on there. Blue had a really good interview, man, with Zach Bro. I learned a lot from watching that interview. Shout out to Blue for that interview.
Yeah, he really did.
But he was Zach kind of told his story on there, man. I didn't know much about him signing until he signed. But I will say this: we needed some depth at center. Caleb Graham did a phenomenal job. Young people forget Caleb Graham is a freshman, man. That was his first SWAC. Those was his first SWAC minutes that he was registering on the field this season, and he held his own, man. He's a former Mississippi Alabama All-Star coming out of Terry, and he did a phenomenal job, man, for us this season. Had some adversity there, but our backup center, I could say James Red, but I want to say it was more Cedric Dunbar, but Dunbar was starting mostly at right guard. However, when you look at an Evan Henry and you look at a Zach Bro, these are starters at a ULM, man. They started multiple games for ULM, and they got great game film. They were really. We played ULM. It was a physical, tough game. I thought that we should have won that game. If I'm being honest about it, we just could not get. I honestly feel like if we didn't turn that ball over at the end of the game, man, we would have scored and won that thing. But woulda, coulda, shoulda don't help when you're playing football, man. We just. But I think that they add some maturity, some depth, and some experience on the offensive line. And I think we got two really, really, really good interior linemen. 6'4", 6'3", 300 pounds or better each, and gonna bring some good physicality, man. And I think that two blue-collar interior offensive linemen that we were able to gain from ULM. So hats off to Coach Markinson and the offensive staff that was able to recruit them over to Jackson State.
And now there's another guy on that offensive line that y'all got coming too, Christian Henderson. I tried to look him up. I tried to find out more about him, but I didn't know much about him. Is there anything you could tell us about Christian and what kind of player he was before he signed?
Yeah, Christian Henderson is actually over at Colin JUCO. Most kids, see, this is the thing about Mississippi that a lot of folks don't understand. Mississippi has a really good JUCO system. There's a lot of JUCO systems in a lot of other areas, but one thing that we can say for sure is a lot of kids, man, value JUCO offers. In times past, they would value JUCO offers more so than they would HBCU offers. HBCUs is kind of looked at as a secondary or thirdary type situation. They always felt like, man, I could go JUCO and then I could possibly get that Power 5 or FBS offer. But when you look at Christian actually signed with Louisiana Tech. He played so even though you probably won't find much game film to get a scholarship to go play football at a Power 5 like Louisiana Tech, and it bodes well for you in regards to speaking of what kind of player you were out of high school. But he chose to leave La Tech to go on over to Colin to really put himself in a position to get back into the D1 level, and he did a really good job for them. As of right now, he's not on campus, as Coach Marks said on signing day. He's finishing up one class over at Colin, and then he'll be joining us in the summer. So Christian Henderson, really good size, 6'5", 300 and I want to say 320, but a really good tackle. I think he's projecting to me to be kind of that left tackle, just in the tackle range. So I think he's going to give Tony Gray a little bit of competition over there, man. So that we can expect to see that be a good battle, man. But that's really all we got on Christian Henderson, man. He started off at La Tech, left La Tech, went over to Colin, which is Copiah Lincoln Community College, and now he's signed with us as a offensive lineman. Happy to have him.
And then next we got Shawntavious Vardaman, who's coming from UAB. He's another guy who I couldn't really find a lot on.
Another JUCO kid. He's another JUCO kid. He was over at we actually almost had Sean. Sean is actually a family member to D. Corey C., who's responsible for. He's the head of the Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club podcast. So he's a family member of Corey, and he went over to started off in Colin and made his way over to UAB. And like I said, really good, rangy offensive lineman. I think he's going to project to be either right or left tackle. Right around 6'5.5", 6'6". Physical kid. He's actually on campus now, getting some of that spring, or what would we say, some of that off-season conditioning and training and building that chemistry with the team. So Vardaman's on campus now. Henderson's still in class at JUCO, but both of them will be in the Tiger uniform coming this fall. So Vardaman was a really good pickup. Like I said, I really wanted him, out of high school and out of Colin, but he wound up going over to UAB, and apparently it didn't work out for him, and we're happy to have him.
Now, Simi Moala, the big guy to me, like the big premier of that offensive line signing, this is a guy who produced at the Pac-12 level. Like he got steady production at the Pac-12 level, and now y'all got him. So, tell me about Simi. Like, I'm excited to see him on the field too.
Man, Simi is a much older offensive lineman. When Simi's fresh out of high school, man, he actually was a defensive lineman. He signed on to go play at Oregon State, actually, and wound up going on a church mission for 2 years where he was away from the game. And he tell his story, man. Like I said, for those that are listening to this, man, please, man, go tap in to Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. Matter of fact, our latest episode is the interview I had with Simi Moala. He'll tell his own story much better than I can. I don't want to mess it up, but once he got back from his church mission, he was with his father, and he said that some coaches called his father, and basically the coach at Utah reached out to his family and offered him a scholarship to go and play right at that time. And when he went to Utah, they wanted him to be offensive line, and he said he absolutely hated it. So it was actually the coaches that convinced Simi to switch from defense to offense. And because he went to explaining that, these offensive linemen in the NFL, man, they get paid, man. They get paid more than defensive linemen. So he said he'd give it a try, and he said he's glad that he made that switch. He started 18 out of 21 games for Utah, played mostly at right tackle, physical, big body, 6'7", 315-pound offensive lineman, playing in a similar style offense, the ability to pull, the ability to, I think he's going to be a favorite of QB1, Shedeur Sanders, man. So Simi, big physical experience. He's going to bring some maturity and some experience and some leadership for that offensive line room, man. So happy to have him. I was excited to see him on campus working out with our two workout warriors, and that's Turley and Aubrey Miller, man. Those are some specimens at linebacker. So he was out working out with them, man, and it was good to see him, and we're happy and ecstatic to have him, man. Matter of fact, when Simi, we all tuned in on the live, the Solid Ties live, Simi said, "Hey, man, don't disrespect the J hat like that." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So it was all love, man. Ty did what he felt was best for him and his family by choosing BYU. But like I said, I would have loved to have him, boy. Simi is going to be a good one, man, for us. A really good one.
And the guy who I'm most interested in, Jasper Free, is coming from Germany. Physically, Like that's God given right there. That size that he has, the truck, right? I feel like because it correct me if I'm wrong, right? But because he's from Germany, he hasn't really played the game as long as other players, so he's still learning the nuances of the position and everything like that. But you can see the flashes of greatness in like that he has in him. Correct?
Absolutely, man. I mean, I'll say this, man. Man, look, I'm 6'3", and bro, when I do my squats, man, I get low. Hey, my knees are cracking coming up, man. Jasper's 6'7", 325 pounds, man. And for him to be able to play the guard position. So you would think 6'7", he'd be a tackle.
But right.
Jasper's a guard. You know, he started off, I mean, and look, anytime you're coming from a different country, I don't know much about France, man, but I know that we have systems in place in the U.S. where, you know, high school football leads to, you know, college and so forth and so on, right? But we do know that he signed with Cal out of Berkeley over in at University of Cal. He left there and entered the transfer portal, went on over to Snow College and wound up playing Iowa Central. I said Snow. He went over to Iowa to play in junior college and had some really good film, man. Physical. But the thing that you notice when you watch his film, his ability to get low, because you're like, man, he's 6'7". He should be out on the edge, because you know the tackles aren't as low as the guards, man. The guards are in the trenches and they low like you used to seeing like a Demetri Jordan or Evan Henry, you know, Zach Bro, the guys that's gotta, you know, get small, you know, inside. But man, his ability to get small and to get up quick and be physical and create holes is just absolutely impressive. And I think he'll do extremely well. And I think he's gonna, man, could you imagine this? I having some fun with this, man. Could you imagine Zach Bro? And you know, like I said, no disrespect to anybody. We don't know who's gonna start. I'm just using the new guys since we're talking about the signing class. Let's just say Zach Bro starts at center. Could you imagine Jasper Fries at right guard and then Simi Moala at right tackle? That right side gonna be fun to run, man. Hey, man, I might be able to get a first down for the Tigers, man. And I'm slow, man. I'm 40 in a couple of days. You see what I'm saying? In a couple of months. I mean, so, hey, man. Hey, it looks like it could be like that, man. But hey, they got to go out there and do it. No disrespect to anyone in the SWAC. You got some good defensive lines out there. I think the competition has definitely gotten better in the conference. But hey, man, I'm glad we upgraded in the O-line, man. We added some much needed depth and experience. When we're talking about the O-line, we're talking about adding experience. We brought in some high schoolers, but you and I both know, man, that you don't really have a finished product with an O-line, because I never thought about it like this. Consider it like this. The O-line and the D-line, they make physical contact every single play. So you have to be physically fit to take that kind of punishment in the trenches. And that's one of the things that we struggled with last year. Let's just call it what it is. We had a really good team, but the trenches is what caught us. It caught up with us, especially in the Celebration Bowl. You go up against the cornbread fed, some cock diesel strong jokers in the trenches, and South Carolina State showed us, hey man, and y'all might be SWAC champs, but we're gonna get physical with y'all. We're gonna ugly it up, and they played their game and it bode well for them. So we're shoring up that O line and D line, and I think you're gonna see a better product overall from Jack State.
And you know, it's interesting that you bring up the freshman offensive lineman, right? Because there were two guys who left the program. One who I was very much a fan of, Mr. Armstrong, but they left the program. And I just want to clear up, because a lot of people were speculating that, I think they were saying like one just up and took his stuff off and left, like Antonio Brown style, and the other one, you know, just wanted to leave for whatever reason. So I just want to clear that up. And you know, what if you know the reasons why they left the program?
Well, here's what I'll say. I don't know if that happened, and I don't even think that would be the right thing to do, because here's the thing, man. In the end, we want to see, you know, we're all about building up young men, and I think when it comes to something like that, I think it'll be best to let them tell their story. I got an idea of what happened, but what I try to do and what we try to do with Tiger Talk is if I don't know 100%, bro, I just don't speak on it. Usually when you hear Ken Clark talking, it's because I know what I'm talking about. So if I gave my opinion, I think I'll be doing a disservice. What we do know is Coach Prime made a decision to move in a different direction, and they entered the transfer portals. Two really good kids, I think. That's going to be two that we can keep our eyes on and see where they land. You know, Devontae Gardner, I was really excited to land him in our first signing class under Coach Prime, and as well as Charles Armstrong. So, I mean, we'll just see how it bows for them. I like I said, I can't speak any further on exactly what transpired because I wasn't present, and I try not to deal in hearsay, so I don't have much on that one.
It is not a bad thing that they entered the transfer portal. Sometimes the situation just isn't for you, and you realize it, and you go. It's no love lost, ain't no disrespect, none of that. So I understand. Now,
yeah, I hated to see him go because I'm all about depth, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, every now and again things happen, man. You just be like, man, I wish that didn't happen like that. You wish it went a different way, because I always wanted to see, man, what they could do. Especially when you feel like your line is struggling. You'd be like, well, hell, man, let anybody get out. Somebody get out there and do something. Yes. You know what I'm saying? We got, you know what I'm saying? Like, try somebody else. But, anyway, I don't want to get in trouble. But I've said what I had to say on the shows. You follow Tiger Talk, you know what I've had to say. So, and that's what see, listen, man, all the CFL podcast supporters and listeners, hey, man, we critical of Jack State too now. Y'all don't always no positive. For folks that get it twisted and think that we buy it. No, man, we tell it like it is. We call it how we see it, and that's how you develop respect in the game, man. You don't just go out there and just if it's bad, it's bad, and if it's good, it's good. That's what's up. So go ahead.
All right, so let's get into the sexier part of the recruiting class, right? The wide receivers, because y'all have an embarrassment of riches. I'm talking about a receiving corps that can compete with bigger FBS, that receiving corps.
Top 5 wide receiver corps in all of college football, but I ain't gonna say that. I ain't got my blue glasses on with that. I don't care. You go get your wide receiver against my wide receivers, and I'm willing to go tit for tat with you. I say top 5 in all of college. Somebody may say he crazy. But no. I think I like our chances with this. Go ahead.
We start with a Quay Davis, his debut is so highly anticipated by everybody, right, in the SWAC, because we know what kind of athlete he is. I mean, I remember when he first announced that he committed to JSU, and I went home and I look up the tape, and the first play I see is him leaping over a defender for 40 yards for a touchdown. And I'm like, oh, my God. So tell us about Quay, because he talked to me a little bit on Instagram. He sent the practice footage, and I see he's still doing it. I see he's still going off. Tell us what we can expect for Quay.
Hey, man, listen, the reports we were getting from last year, man, was nothing short of just, excitement, man. I mean, Quay Davis, there was a race at one time. I was told that Quay was the fastest wide receiver we had. I was like, what? Quay won the race? But listen, man, we call him Baby Dez Bryant, or some may even say Baby Debo, man. Debo Samuel, man. But we talking about a physical. But think about it like this. You got a 4-star kid that really could have roughly went anywhere. He had crazy offers. I want to say he was the number 8 wide receiver in the signing class of 2021. We see a lot of film on him just high pointing the ball. The thing that's probably his greatest attribute, Kobe, is his hands. His ability to catch the ball. That's the essential, necessary attribute that you need as a wide receiver. But he's also a great route runner. He's also physical, and he's fast and quick at the same time. So I expect Quay to be a matchup nightmare in the SWAC. I really do.
Right.
I honestly do, because I don't, I'm pretty sure after a few games, some coaches would probably try to, game plan for him. But when you take the likes of what we are currently, where we're sitting at from a wide receiver core standpoint, Quay Davis is that dude, man. I'm so excited to see him hit the field. And I'm so proud of him, man, for sticking through this. I know it probably wasn't the ideal thing to go to college after you that highly touted and have to sit on ice for a year, and there might have been some eligibility issues there. I'll just say it like this, man. When Coach Prime say we got something in the tank that y'all ain't seen because we had some players that weren't quite eligible at the time, just know that Quay Davis is at the top of the list for that. That's all I'm going to say on that. And you can put Quay Davis anywhere. You can put Quay Davis out of the back. For those, we need a running back. Well, you run him out of the backfield. I mean, I'm saying physicality, speed, good hands. I'm just saying you could jet sweep him. You could put him in the slot. You could put him on the outside. I mean, you could put him in the return game. I mean, he's just a weapon. That's the word for Quay Davis. Just an absolute Swiss Army knife weapon. But I love his. Quay came to college with a college body already. He was physically ready to play football the day he showed up on campus. And I think that's the thing that bodes the most well for him. And when you look at that defense that you saw and everybody had a chance to witness with our DBs, a physical Al Young and, Dejon Warren and Kendrick Wiggins and all the Haney, those are the guys that he had to go up against every practice. Him and Donovan, and they won some battles at practice, man. So iron sharpens iron. The starters from last year had a heck of a time at practice, man. So practice is where the games are won, man. But Quay is that dude, and I can't wait to see him in Miami, man. First game of the season.
And because of the other receivers that you got coming from FBS programs, like the kid from Miami, whose name Mark
Pope.
Yeah, Mark Pope.
Well, I'm gonna say this about Mark Pope. Mark Pope didn't sign on signing day, so I don't know where we at with that. I'll just leave that at that. I mean, there may be some maybe sign, maybe didn't sign, but I don't know. I noticed that we didn't. Usually, when the university puts that information out there, they put it out there based on what we had come in, and I didn't see him post. I even asked about him, so hopefully. I went to his social media. It looked like he still has his Miami stuff up there. So you never can tell, man. One thing about the transfer portal is that you can always go back to the school that you left. So we don't know. We'll just see. We'll see with Mark. I as of right now, there was a commitment. Not sure if he signed. So I personally can't say if he signed or didn't sign. So I'll just park it there with Mark.
Got you. Now, Key Mullins, right, who's not really a receiver. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a tight end when he gets to Jackson State, but I'm going to include him in this group, right?
Yep.
Another guy, I'll be very excited for it because we didn't really see Colin Ritchie get a lot of targets last season.
Yeah.
And, when he was able to get some passes, we saw what he can do. But I imagine that in this new offense, we're going to see the tight end used a lot more, which is why y'all would go out and get a Key Mullins, right? Talk about him a little bit and how excited you are for him.
I am, man. I'm just excited to see the tight end get more, get more action, period, man. I like I said, if you go back, in order to really try to understand maybe how we would use the tight end, you got to go watch Nevada's offense from last year, which Coach Bouldin is coming from as an offensive analyst. Their tight end led the nation, was one of the tops in the nation with productivity. He was short under 1,000 yards, and pardon my French, man. I gotta shave my mustache. If y'all don't, I don't do that funny stuff. The more I talk, man, my mustache is tickling my nose, so that's why I need to shave, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm talking, it just feels like a little feather, like ding, ding, ding. So anyway, man, let me just get this out of the way, man. All right. So you got to go look at Nevada's tight end and the productivity that he was able to have in that offense. I think Tavion Mullins. I think Mullins is going to be a phenomenal weapon for us. But I'm also excited to see my little brother Jesse Riley get some burn, as well as DJ Stevens. We still got a couple of really good tight ends in the saddle, but I think Tavion, he's more of a tweener style. He's kind of like that Greg Kittle's style body, Travis Kelce, where you have these big tight ends, but they can also play like a wide receiver. If you look at Kansas City's offense, that's similar. That's really like an NFL version of an air raid, basically. The air raid has a lot of the same concepts. It's really just a spread, and you're spreading out your tight end and putting them in, putting them out, and it's not just a blocker. We saw Colin Ritchie with his hand in the dirt a lot last year, and we threw to him. He may be, I'd be pushing it if he got 15, 20 catches for the whole season. I felt like we definitely could use him a lot more. So I'm excited to see how we're going to use Mullins in this offense. So if it's consistent with what Nevada has done, then he's going to have we're going to have a lot of productivity from the tight end position. But I think that's going to be a position that we're going to see by committee. At least that's what I hope.
Now, here's a question I gotta ask you because I've been racking my brain since Kevin Coleman, as a matter of fact. Who do you start? How do you rotate all of these weapons, right? Like, because you got Kevin Coleman, you got Quay, you got Malachi, you got Shane, Trevante. There's so many receivers. You forget a receiver you really shouldn't be. So it's like, what's the plan for this, man? How would you do it?
I mean, let's throw in there Jordan Williams, because Jordan Williams, let's throw in our two Indiana transfers. You know, Jordan Williams who's a 3-star out of high school, Trinity Christian, as well as Cameron Buckley, who's a 4-star out of Cedar Hills, Texas, played at Texas A&M in Indiana. Honestly, Kobe, the answer to that question is it's going to be based off practice, man. It's going to be who wins. Coach Prime has a system that I love. You earn your minutes by how well you play at practice. And all I'm going to say is this right here. Shout out to all them JSU Tigers, but don't miss a practice, man. You don't want to get it. You know, we know attrition happens, but my goodness, man. It's outside of that, that's really what it's going to come down to. You know, when you mentioned it, you got Shane Hooks, who was a starter last year, you know, went through some injury, but wound up getting healthy toward the end of the season. Mr. Consistency, shout out to Keith Corbin, man. We're going to miss him a lot. But when you think about it, Keith Corbin, maybe a Kevin Coleman can come in. Hey, let's not also forget that there's another wide receiver we're not talking about. His name is Travis Hunter, my brother. He's going to play both sides of the football.
Exactly.
hey, man. I'll say it like this. TC Taylor is my brother. Love TC, man. Like that's my real bro right there. Boy, TC got to be the happiest joker on the staff right now, man. Could you imagine being a coach with those kind of weapons, man?
I'm just saying.
Hey, man, listen. Hey, when you have a Quay Davis, a Shane Hooks, a Trevante Rucker, a Ala Brown, a Kevin Coleman, a Travis Hunter, a Jordan Williams, a Cam Buckley, you know what I'm saying? And then not to even mention the wide receivers that are still Christian Allen that's still there, Eric Simmons, Chad Turner. You know, we got a lot of let's not forget Jonas Fortillion, 6'5", signee out of Florida. I mean, he's a big physical. I mean, listen, it's gonna come down to practice, man. You will play based off how you practice. So with this level of competition, hey man, practice is gonna be fun to see. You know, so I'm excited to see how it bodes well. It's from a offensive standpoint, though. I mean, to be about 12 deep at the wide receiver position with, you know, 3-4 deep at the tight end position, man, that's going to be fun. And then you're talking about wide receiver running backs becoming now a weapon in the passing game. So it's going to be fun to see how the coaches mix that up, and we'll know based off of who hits the field, man. I guess we'll know who won the battle when we get to Miami and we see FAMU. But I expect to see some good rotations, man. With the rotations, I don't expect to see much of a drop off.
Oh, no, I will hope so. You know, I can't wait. I'm gonna be out there in Miami for that game. I have to go to that one.
Cool deal, man. We'll have to connect then. Go ahead.
Now, just to venture away from the class for a quick minute, I saw this is probably something that's going to get the fans excited. New uniforms are in the works for Jackson State.
Hey, man, what's Coach Prime's mantra, man?
Hey,
look good,
you
feel good. You feel good, you play good. You play good,
that pay good.
Hey, man, that got me excited. You know, I'm sitting there saying, which color combo is he talking? You know what I'm saying? So I was told that they're going to be fire, man. I know some, you know, shout out to my big brother Neely and Chuck B with Deep Pregame Show. I know that they, you know, they've had a little sneak peek at him, and I won't put too much pressure on bro to try to see. I'm like this, man. I'm okay with waiting to see when everybody else see it. We got a lot of good things in the works, but 3 uniforms. I'm gonna tell you what I would love to see. I wouldn't mind seeing like a blue version of our white uniform, the white with the stripes.
Yeah,
I would love to see like Jackson State in the Navy, because that's gonna bring back a nostalgic moment for me in my childhood, man. That Navy uniform with the white and red and blue, red, white, and blue stripe, or the or should I say white and red stripes with the Jackson State going across the front. Man, my favorite uniform that we rolled out was the uniform that you saw at Alabama A&M this past season, the all white with the white helmet with the triple stripe.
Yeah.
What a lot of folks don't know is that the 1400 Club was we rolled out that helmet and I want to say a couple of seasons ago, where we put together a drive to get that helmet added. And then when Coach Prime show up, you get an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the uniform. Good thing we got a coach that like to look good. So 3 new uniforms in the mix. I thought they did a really good job of mixing it up all year with a color, a few different combos. The red kind of pissed a few people off, if I'm being honest, because you know we true blue and white, as you can see the school, the flag in the back. But hey, man, Coach W.C. Gordon put that touch of red in that thing back in the 80s when we was kicking behinds, man. That's that Tiger blood,
Yes, sir.
And Coach Prime expanded on it. So we don't know, man. We don't know. We might get a white, red, black. We don't know, man. We don't know, man. Coach Prime may come out there in a silver. We don't know, man. It's gonna be fun, man. But I really will say this though. I really hope, man. We got some new facility stuff dropping soon. Man, I hope they do something fun with the new uniforms, man. We got Blue and White Week coming up the first week of April, where we're going to have our spring game. And I hope by then we're able to at least see something and get the people excited. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be fun.
And you just sticking to that facilities comment, right? The picture, matter of fact, I remember a video where Coach Prime was talking about the changes that he wanted to make on Instagram. He had like pictures and he was showing like, this is what it is now, this is what I wanted. Yeah. So I remember that the field, like he wanted like a different looking field and stuff, like maybe turf, maybe different kind of paint. Can we expect that next season as well, or is it going to be the same thing from last year?
That part I can't answer. I just know the first thing is going to be you're going to see a lot of changes that from what has already been communicated, which I haven't seen, but we're expecting the weight room, coach's office, the upgrades to the Walter Payton facility. We've already got a new practice field. There's some other, I think there's a second field being added. It's going to be grass. And we got a Coach Prime added a hill. Maybe I've even heard something like a sandbox. I'm not really sure, but I think everything is going to be done in phases. But I think the first things first is going to be the Walter Payton renovations, and that's something I can't wait. I'll yield to the details because I'd rather for the university to come out and drop it. But just know this, brother, when you see it, you're gonna elevate Jackson State up to the top of when it comes to facilities. At least one of the top. I'm gonna say we're gonna have the best facilities when it's all said and done. And for anybody that, like I said, I don't want to hear no stadium talk because the vet is our home, and we're not trying to hear none of the other stuff.
Right. Now, I want to touch base with you on a comment that I've been hearing a lot as y'all kept stockpiling this talent. And before I say what it is, I just want to say that nobody makes this comment about Alabama. Nobody makes this comment about Clemson or Ohio State. But when it comes down to Jackson State stockpiling all this talent, people say somebody gonna transfer. A lot of these kids gonna transfer. They ain't waiting. What is your response to that?
Well, bro, it's just a new wave now. The transfer portal is free agency in football, man. It works both ways. The transfer portal give it, and it can also take it away.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the players and what it is that they're looking to accomplish if they want to be a part of it, and that's with any program. But I think the thing that you're really adhering to, I'm gonna add something to that. People always talking about, man, when Coach Prime leaves. Do you really think we around here fantasizing about when Coach Prime leaves? Y'all might be. Man, listen, I told somebody this the other day. I said, that's every coach in America. I mean, what we talking about? Morgan State finna need a new coach, because guess what? Coach Tyrone Wheatley going to the Denver Broncos, right? He about to go. So it's not Coach Prime. Listen, no coach. You don't see coaches do what Coach Eddie Robinson did in the back of the day, where he stayed from literally almost the 50s to the 90s or the early 2000s. Like, you don't see a coach in place that long. I think maybe the longest we've seen a coach in place was Coach Willie Slater over at Tuskegee, who he just took the head coaching job at Clark Atlanta, but that just got announced this week. Usually, the average coach in Power 5, maybe you could say Nick Saban, because Nick Saban's been on. Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, there's a lot of coaches that's been in place. Coaches move around, but Coach Prime is at Jack State right now, man, and we loving it as long. We hope he stays as long as he can. But let me say this: the transfer portal has changed football forever. I think that's why you see recruiting change the way that they measure transfers now, because you got so many players coming in and out. And I don't think I think it's going to be a testament to the coaching staff as the caliber of players that they recruit as to why they want to come to Jackson State and be a part of this thing. And every year you're going to have to recruit your same players. If you're winning, right, and there's a fair chance of getting on the field, hey, man, maybe you see that. Name the player that played last year for Jackson State that entered the transfer portal in 2022. Which one is it? So that's what I'm saying. We can say a lot of stuff, but nobody can see. There's no players that has played for Jackson State that Coach Prime has brought on board. They either entered the NFL draft, or I could say we saw a long snapper enter the portal, and he just committed to a local, Belhaven College over in the city of Jackson. But there's not a lot of players that have been on our team. Now, will that happen? Maybe so. It's possible. But when we talk about leveling the playing field, hey, man, don't Alabama and Clemson get players that hit the portal every year? Hey, man, it's going to happen to us too. When you picking up big-time talent, hey, you might lose a few players here and there. But we haven't seen that in Jackson yet. Hopefully, everybody that's there now will stay. Now, I can go show you some players that across the conference that done hit the portal. But I ain't come here to be messy today. I'm just saying. You know what I'm talking about? I came here to just talk. I come in peace.
All right, so listen. One thing I'm excited to see, and not orange, but I hope defense goes on the field first, because I want to see what they gonna do against that secondary. I want to see what you gonna do when you got Nugget on one side, Travis on the other, and whoever's gonna be in that slot. Let's talk about this DB room. So
the thing that makes this class all the more important is the way that it complements what we currently have. Like, we lost Spencer hit the portal when he wound up signing again with Missouri, but Spencer left the team though, so he you can include him in there if somebody that wanted to come up with that. But from a DB standpoint, we lost Al Young. But when you look at the cornerback position, I kept saying to myself, man, we need another cornerback. Even with Keelan Kennedy possibly supposed to sign, I was like, I just need to see one more cornerback. Well, when Tavion Beasley committed, I was like, yeah, man, there we go. Because I felt like we needed a little bit more depth at the cornerback position. But you had keep in mind we got Haney is returning, number 28.
Oh, I didn't know Haney was returning. Okay.
Yeah, Haney's returning. So he's gonna still be he's gonna be able to compete for a starting position. Isaiah Bouldin is a cornerback, man. I know he's a return specialist, but I expect to see him elevate to that next level in the DB room as well. But when you factor in Beasley, Travis Hunter's going to be there. You factor in Nugget. It's going to be interesting to see. Let me not forget Kevin Wiggins, who started some games for us. AJ Petty, who dropped down. I think it's going to come down to the scheme that we run. We saw a lot of Cam and Shiloh from a safety standpoint. We ran a lot of safety where our safeties would cover, and we would only run about three cornerbacks. So if that's the case, we're running three cornerbacks, I can see us being too deep in at that position. We do have some others, but the others haven't really seen the field as much as the ones that I just mentioned. But when you factor in a Haney who started a lot of games in the season, Kevin Wiggins that started a lot of games in the season, nugget that started some games. Then you factor in Beasley, you factor in Bouldin, and you factor in Travis Hunter. That gives you a really good, strong six that you can rotate from two different levels. And then when then you move over to the safety position where we got a lot of depth there with John Huggins, Cam, Herman Smith, Shiloh Sanders, and so forth and so on. Javion Adams, like I said, AJ Petty, and a few others. Trey Lockhart, some other names that come to mind, and we'll just see who rise up at practice, who elevates themselves. You know, we got quite a few on the roster that could possibly, you know, make a showing. We'll just see. You know, everybody get their chance though.
Gotcha. Now, the defensive line is something that I was not worried about, but I was thinking about because you do return Coinus, correct? Coinus is coming back.
We got Big Junior coming back. We got Katron Evans. You got Devontae Davis, who I am a absolute favorite. I love that kid, man. Number 97. Go back. Every time you saw him hit the field, you know. Don't forget we got Big Riggins, number 93. He's the transfer from Illinois. He didn't see the field much, but he's still with us. Don't forget CJ Nunnally, who's we have some from a defensive line standpoint. We actually have some red shirts, some red shirt freshmen that are gonna make an impact. That actually did well at practice. Jeremiah Williams won to be. He was the 5A Defensive Player of the Year out of Mississippi, over in Home Central. He didn't play last year, but keep a lookout for that name. But when you take what we got coming back and you add a True Thompson, I mean, True, I think is just gonna be just a staple in the middle, man. The transfer from Florida State. You think about a Jason Mercier who's going to play more of that tweener. He's going to have his hand in the dirt, right. As well as a Frankie Burgess, as well as a Josh Griffiths. These are some physical guys that could actually put their hand in the dirt and can rotate from a kind of whether he be a shade or he just be a regular a nose or a shade. They could play interchangeably. Now it's really going to come down, but this is the other part that we forget. Don't forget we got Niles Gaddy who had his hand in the dirt a lot, you know, on the other side. And I'm expecting to see Niles Gaddy. Niles Gaddy is a legit 6'6", man. I stood right next to him after the championship game on the field. That's a big dude, man. But Niles is more of he got a lot to fill into, and I'm telling you, I think Niles Gaddy, in my opinion, is going to take the biggest leap from last year of those that are returning. Because I'm telling you, a year of strength and conditioning for Niles Gaddy, who already has that physicality, he already has that DNA, he's already built that way. Man, to see him pick up another 5 to 10 pounds, and let me not forget, Justin Reagan is returning. Justin Reagan was just none other than just a sack. He was a sack man. He missed the first 4 games due to, I want to say, ineligibility. He had to sit out the first part of the season. But don't fret about the D-line, brother. We got some Big Junior still there. I expect Katron to take that next step. Devontae Davis, True Thompson, like I said, Niles Gaddy, as well as Justin Reagan and the other 2 freshmen that redshirted last year. That's what you can expect to see, along with Frankie as well as Mercier.
Got you. Now, Donald Turley is becoming a fan favorite. Like, since we found out this man's story, you know, him being in the Marines and, you know, he's like a 26-year-old freshman, something along the lines of, like, we're very excited to see what he can do.
Workout warrior, man. I think he'll be, you'll see him on the field, I think, this season. You know, he had to get in and really adjust to the speed of the game. I don't think, you know, I think I love him and Aubrey work. They seem like they always in the gym, man. They just, every time you see them on tape, they in there working their behinds off, man. So I'm excited to see how we're going to use it. I mean, heck, I put his hand in the dirt. That's a big, strong joker, man. You can put him anywhere, honestly, and just be right there for you as a run blocker. But I think we expect to see him hit the field this year.
All right, see, that's all I want to know with Turley. I was wondering, like, you know, what's the deal with him? That's all I want to know about him. All right, so man, other than Jackson State, what school were you impressed with their recruiting class? Like, what school really, like, surprised you? Like, wow, they doing really good, pretty good.
Well, first and foremost, I got to start with Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M, I thought We all know Alabama A&M had arguably the best offense, if not the best scheme. They had Keel Glass, who was the best quarterback in the conference. Shador being a true freshman, but Akil Glass was more developed. He's a pro. I got a chance to see him play over in the NFLP game, and they had some weapons, man, with a good wide receiver core along with D. Anderson, and I think they biggest Achilles heel with their defense. So Manning went and hit the man. He hit the portal hard, man. He introduced 38 players.
Yeah,
and I want to say Manning 15 DBs. Oh my goodness, like 8 safeties and like 7 cornerbacks. I was like, man,
they was needed.
Hey man, so you talk about competition. Hey man, you can't play but 11. So I'm just saying. So that's the thing. They have some. One of the players that they did sign. I want to say one of the D linemen, Middleton. We went after before he went to Tennessee. He was able to transfer into Alabama A&M. Really good kid on the D line. I thought they really had a complete makeover for their defense. So we don't know. They only brought in one quarterback, which tells me that they I know Quincy Casey. Shout out to QC over there, man, and as well as the young man that they signed with them. But I do think that there's going to be some competition there. You bring in a Jared Williams, who I'm expecting them to bring him in to start. They did a little bit on offense. They did enough, brought in about, I think, 3 wide receivers, maybe a running back, 3 offensive linemen, but they really, really, really honed in on the defense. So Alabama A&M, with even the remotely close offense to what it was last year, with a much better defense, means it's going to be a much better thing for them. Number 2, and I'm not even giving this in the order. I'm saying in regards to Grambling, I thought they did a phenomenal job, but you got to keep in mind, this is Hugh Jackson's first signing class. He's a new head coach. They're practically rebuilding because you have to rebuild anytime you hire a new coach. He got to bring his players in. Right. So, man, I thought when you look at their signing class, multiple quarterbacks, 4-5 running backs, several offensive linemen, several wide receivers, several linebackers. So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I think Grambling on signing day, because we were expecting that big barracuda to jump out on our line and it didn't happen. Grambling flipped the wide receiver from Texas. And I thought Grambling, and they signed the wide receiver out of New Orleans, the one that I mentioned earlier in the show. So when you think about that, Grambling had a really good, but we don't know. We don't know how that's going to bowl well. He still got to take all the pieces, put them together. But if you go back and look at Grambling from last year, they had a really decent defense. That offense was very shaky. We don't know what they're going to do with Noah Bouldin. We know that Holloway coming in, transferring in from UCLA. Holloway is a good kid out of California. He kind of did the same thing Shador, so we can't say that he won't have a good year. We don't know. He sat on ice at UCLA, and now he gets to come over, and he got offensive-minded coach. So, hey, they flipped a couple of big fish from that other school down in Baton Rouge. I'm from Jackson State, man, so we don't say their name. They're that team that wear yellow and gold. Yeah. But speaking of that team, I thought they had a good signing class as well as FAMU. And last but not least, if I had to pick 5, Mississippi Valley. Shout out to my brother Vincent Dancy. I thought he had a good job, but this is the thing that a lot of people don't know. I'm happy for Valley because I think Valley gets all 63 of their scholarships this year, so they're able to bring in a lot more. And most people didn't know that. See, most people didn't know that Valley was only operating with half the bag. I think they only had half the scholarships that most of the SWAC schools had. And now they get their full allotment of scholarship. That's why you saw Vince do some really good recruiting. Brought in a number 1 JUCO quarterback. And Valley played tough, man. Hey, listen, man. Anybody that's talking about we had a weak schedule, man, you can't have it both ways, brother. I'm telling you, we got Grambling. Can I have a transparent moment? Transparent moment. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be fake because I'm not a fake person. I ain't want to play. I ain't saying that I don't want to play them, but I was like, man, bro, we gotta play Grambling during Grambling. I didn't want to play Grambling as a non-conference game. Not saying that I don't want to play them or I'm scared of them or anything. It's just that I would have rather played them in like a SWAC championship or something, right?
Right.
So, but for me, it was more like, okay, all right, cool. But look at it like this: we play Tennessee State. We're gonna play that game this year. I think they got better. FAMU definitely got better. We don't know who's gonna start at quarterback. Is it gonna be McKay or is it gonna be the transfer from South Florida? Which one? Who's it gonna be? We don't know. But I thought they brought in some really good pieces. Willie Simmons addressed the needs and he filled in the holes that he lost. So those are my top 5. Number 1, in my opinion, Alabama A&M, because of the amount of bodies that they brought in on the defensive side. Grambling would be number 2. And the only reason why I said it's number 2 because they're rebuilding and they brought in a lot of people. So he has the ability to do what we did. Coach Hugh can flip the whole roster. Nobody's gonna say anything about it. Number 3 would be FAMU. And number 4 would be the blue and gold team out of Baton Rouge. And number 5 would be Mississippi Valley. I'm not, other than that, I'm excited to see little brother Jalen Jones come back to the SWAC over at Bethune-Cookman. He's going to have a chance to, play against Jackson State. And shout out to who else we got out there. That's about all I got, man. Everything else is pretty much status quo in my opinion.
All right, so talk to me about this schedule a little bit more, because I'll be honest. When I first saw the schedule, the fake schedule that was out, I said I really hate the fact that the D2 school is on here, because I'm looking at it from the point of and I saw your answer on my boy DJ Raw Cut Truth, and I was looking at it and I was like, now that you got Travis and you got Kevin and we trying to get these kids to the next level, I can't really get excited if I see Travis, making a pick on Lane College, or I see Kevin going for 250 on Lane College. Like, I can't be excited about it because it's a D2 school. So I would rather them play like even a low tier FCS school. But I want to know, like, what's your take on it?
I mean, my take is that when you scheduling, it's going to come down to who's available and who you can schedule. Like I said on with DJ, I'm not opposed to. Let's just start with the bulk of the schedule. You open up with FAMU, who is many think can have the potential, no matter what we did, to come out of the East, right? FAMU, people see FAMU as FAMU on a neutral site. We're going to Florida. That was a tough game. Then you follow that up with Tennessee State, even though we beat them last year, they that's a non-conference game, OVC, but they historically have a better head-to-head record versus us. They dominated us past matchups, 8 games prior to us winning last year. Then you follow that up with a new look Grambling, with a new head coach, new leadership, new roster. Then you follow that up with a Mississippi Valley that a lot of people are projected to win 6 or 7 games this year. Now, you got to figure out where you're going to get them 6 games from. They just released their schedule, but Grambling played everybody tough. I still feel like Grambling beats FAMU if Vince just kicked the field goal. But I understand you needed 1 yard, and Caleb Johnson just slipped down. I'm like, man, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. But when it comes to when you sign on into these classics, man, and I'm not going to get into the Tennessee State stuff, but I'm one. I've been, I was born into this Jackson State. I was born in Jackson. Whole family went to Jackson State. Man, there's a lot of us that been wanting to get out of that game, man, because it just wasn't very valuable for us. But when you signed on with the OVC, you signed on to the SHC, which Southern Heritage Classic. We committed to the GCC, which is the Gulf Coast Classic. When you got all these then you got your SWAC schedule. Your SWAC schedule is just flips from what we played last year. So when you have that, I can't say who's available, who's not available. So in that regard, I think at that point you just want a home game. The problem with scheduling an FCS team is you probably have to commit to a home in a home. You know what I'm saying? And it's not many schools that we can say we want that game. Listen, man, I can tell you right now, we'll play anybody. We'll play anybody. I just don't think that it's as easy as people can make it out to be. That's low-hanging fruit if you just see us play a D2 school. And I don't even have to go into the monetary side of it and how it benefits those D2 HBCUs like I did on DJ's show. And for your audience, what I was trying to explain was that D2 schools have budgets that they have to meet as well, or NAIA, however you want to look at it. That's a money game for them, for them to come. And when it comes to homecoming, I mean, you're talking about one weekend on one specific date, and every team that you're looking for has to be willing to come to Jackson because we need a home game. I think if we just had an open, here's why getting out of the Tennessee State game is more long-term beneficial. You will get more of that as life goes on in Jackson State football standpoint, because now you have a weekend that for the last 3 decades, man, has always been allocated to Memphis. Now, guess what we can do? Instead of going anywhere, we can say, hey, Sam Houston State, let's do a home and home. Or Stephen F. Austin, let's do a home and home. You know what I'm saying? But when we're talking about just 2022 now, because Kevin Coleman and Travis Hunter, true freshmen, man. And listen, 2022 don't make or break Jackson State. Everybody gonna get a shot to beat us. I'll say this: we already have our FBS opponents scheduled. We already knew we weren't gonna have an FBS team this year. But I think when we were looking at making a schedule, not having to have, here's the flip side to the schedule that y'all got to understand as a JSU Tiger. That's a lot of people, man, that want home games. We want home games in the city of Jackson. We want as many home games as we can possibly get. So although these classics are out there, man, listen, bro, I would much rather play in Jackson any day. But when you sign on to play, you kind of lose an opportunity to play in Jackson. So for homecoming, man, we needed a game. And I honestly don't care who it's going to be. I really don't. But if it's Lane College or Edward Waters or Mississippi College for that matter, it's just one game, one weekend. At the end of the day, we got to go beat FAMU. We got to go beat Grambling. Because let me tell you something, Kobe. Let's be real, man. Come on, man. Let's be real, dog. Man, you know damn well that if we lose one game this year, man, come on, bro. You know that, man, they're going to be on us like stank on come on, dog.
Man,
you know
hey,
I don't run from nobody. Hey, listen, I don't talk, I don't troll, I don't do none of that stuff no more. I just listen. Everybody be how they gonna be. But brother, that loss to South Carolina State hurt.
Yeah.
Bad. And let me tell you what made it hurt the worst.
Well,
you can't say nothing. All I can say was they beat us. Hey, you can't, there's no coming back. There's no, well, bro, we got beat. And you just got to take it. And it's just like, oh, my gosh, man.
Yeah.
Just when I left that stadium, just the knots in my stomach and just knowing what I was like, oh, my gosh, bro. We about to get
it. Y'all about to hear it.
We about to get the business, bro. And we got it. So, listen, man. Hey, man, Southern, you know that Southern game last year wasn't no cakewalk, brother. Southern fumbled the bag toward the end of the game, bro. FAMU was 7-6. This year it ain't gonna be close, man.
You know, and I honestly agree with you. And here's my thing, right? As far as the not wanting the D2 school thing, you know, I was on that side, but it was the SWAC. It was the SWAC fans saying it's like calling themselves weak, basically. You
cut your nose off to smite your face. You like your team on there. Like how you gonna big up your recruit? That's why I said this, man. And I be talking smack, man. I just be having fun with it, man. Listen, man, you can't have it both ways, brother. You can't say Alabama A&M hit a home run in recruiting and Grambling hit a home run in recruiting and not apply the same pressure. Hey, man, y'all talked all this smack about Jack State getting all these transfers. Y'all got transfers too now.
Listen.
Now, if we beat y'all, I don't want no excuses and say we beat up on a lesser team. No. I saw somebody. Shout out to Trey Hayes, man. That's my brother from Grambling, man. He sat right next to me at the SWAC championship game, and Trey said on Facebook the other day, man, Grambling at this point, Grambling just stockpiling talent. You know what my response to Trey was? Well, y'all FBS now, dog. Y'all FBS. You know why I'm saying that too. You know. Because September 17th, brother, it's going down, man. It's going down in the Jack State versus Grambling. Deion Sanders versus Hugh Jackson. And the new look Grambling Tigers, man. Come on, man. W.C. Gordon Classic. That's going to be must-see TV, man. And I'll just say it like this. I'm also a JSU historian. Hey, man, it's been a long time that Jackson State has beat Grambling in Jackson. Very long time.
Right.
So we got to show up and we got to beat them, man. We got to get over that hump. We beat them in Grambling. But I want to say it's been, from a game standpoint, man, it's been a long time that we've physically actually beat from a score standpoint. We're not talking about the boycott year where they forfeited in 2013. I'm saying where we beat them on the scoreboard. It's been a while that Grambling Jackson State has beat Grambling in Jackson. And we've had to hear that mess for years. We've had to hear the mess for 8 years from Southern. I don't want to hear nothing about no schedule. Show up on Saturday and beat us. FAMU, you show up on Sunday and you beat us.
Listen, Southern, like you don't understand how much times I got on Facebook and seeing them SWAT groups and seeing some of them still teasing y'all about the Celebration Bowl. But I'm like, they got there though. Like, how you gonna hit from outside the club?
I'm glad you said this. All right, this ain't an excuse. I'm gonna give you my take on the Celebration Bowl. I played basketball, man. I won a state championship in junior college. I know what it feels like to win a championship. The MEAC does not have a conference championship game. Because of the Bayou Classic, our season is extended by 1 week. If you remember, FAMU played Southeastern Louisiana the exact same weekend the Bayou Classic was. Go back and look at that. Look at the dates, because I remember this. The SWAC championship game is the week after. The exact same day that we played Alcorn, South Carolina State played Norfolk State, and their season was over with. They're MEAC champions. But even though they are MEAC champions, there isn't a game that solidifies we're MEAC champions. So they win the championship by just mere record. In the SWAC, we got to play into the first week of December. And when you win the SWAC championship, it's like we won. And then when we go to Atlanta, it's almost like, all right, we get to go to Atlanta. We're going to go have a good time. But the MEAC is sitting in Atlanta like, hey, man, this game solidifies our season. So I feel like from a historical standpoint, go look at it. Grambling is the only SWAC team that's ever won the Celebration Bowl. And they won it by 1 point because a young man out of North Carolina Central got excited, took his helmet off after scoring a touchdown, and threw up the Q-Dog sign and got a penalty that pushed that field goal back, and they missed the field goal. Grambling won 10-9. That's Celebration Bowl history. Prior to North Carolina A&T dominating, I'm just telling you, man. So I felt like South Carolina State went in there with blood in the water. They still was hungry. And I felt like deep down inside, if you look at our team, I felt like we had accomplished, and we pulled. It's not in the excuses, because you know what? First quarter, we had that game under control. We should have just played ugly to match their ugliness. You know what I'm saying? And just kept, and we didn't. Turnovers led. We turned the ball over 3 times in their red zone and put us in a bad situation. So I just feel like the Celebration Bowl, in my opinion, is advantage MEAC, because the MEAC sits on ice for a whole month and they just watch us go beat up on each other. Then they show up fresh with a good game plan and a team that gotta get over their emotions. You know how hard it is, man, for your emotions to go through the roof. Then you got to settle down, and then you got to get focused again. I just feel like SWAC teams, including our team, has to figure that out. So I think if we win the SWAC this year, don't expect a long celebration.
All right, so that's what I want to ask you, right? I want you to keep it funky with me a little bit. Some people would say that South Carolina State having that whole month off is a disadvantage because they come in with a lot of rust, right? So some that some people would say that. And honestly, I want to know, in your opinion, because a lot was happening on y'all way to the Celebration Bowl, right? You find out you get Travis Hunter while y'all in the air in Atlanta. After having some conversations with South Carolina State players, they were saying, like, y'all came off as a little too cocky.
Like, yeah, we was cocky.
Bad.
You can tell about it in the videos, man. We was cocky. Bro, listen, man. When you call us out, you call us out, bro. We was cocky. We was I told anybody, I felt like we overlooked South Carolina State. I told DJ, I said, hell, I was waiting on the light. I'm sitting there like, all right, man, we finna turn the light switch on. I said somebody went down there and switched the breaker off and took the light bulbs out. And hell, the light never came on. And South Carolina just kept punching us in the mouth. And then finally we cracked. And then I think we all looked at the scoreboard and the time, and we was like, damn, man, we finna lose. And then they set in, and it was like, wow, damn, they beat us. Because I think we all expected something to happen, man. And when them turnovers happened, it was humble pie. But it's okay, man. You learn that on the way of becoming learning how to win. Winning is a habitual. You got to learn how to win. And I think we've been down for so long, man. Hey, listen, man. It went how it went. 11-2 SWAC champions. I'll take it. Because if you'd have told me after 7 bad years of football at Jackson State that we was gonna get hired Deion Sanders and we was gonna have 2 monster signing classes and we was gonna win the SWAC championship in his first full year, but lose the Celebration Bowl, I would have said give it to me. I would have said give it to me. But I think from a rust standpoint, it depends on how you look at it. I think South Carolina State came out flat in that first quarter, and then they found their rhythm. But we gave it to them by turning the ball over. I think when we turned the ball over, that fumble on that inside the 5-yard line, the momentum swung. You could see it. And I'm telling you, Kobe, I don't know if you was there. You might have been there. Were you at the game?
Nah, I couldn't make it.
Okay. Check this out. Something happened, man. I'm sitting there. I'm standing behind the bench, and when that fumble happened, you could see the momentum swing. It's like that team started believing. You know what? We here, and we can play with this team. And they ain't what they, whatever. That's what it looked like, and it just seemed like we kept saying, "All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out," and it never happened, man. So I ain't making no excuses. I'm just saying, shout out to South Carolina. They did what they had to do. But if we don't see them in the Celebration Bowl this year, if we don't repeat as SWAC champions to go to Celebration Bowl and they repeat as MEAC champions, we'll see them in Atlanta for 2023 for the SWAC MEAC challenge. So either way, we're gonna get to see them again, man.
And when I talked to a few on that side, they looking forward to that.
I can't wait, man, because I think we beat them. Then all right, okay, cool. But South Carolina State got a good program, man. Buddy Pugh, man, is a phenomenal head coach, man. 20+ years, and look at all the NFL players, man. Darius Leonard is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
already. If Darius Leonard don't play no more football, I think Darius Leonard go to the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, I mean, I think he's trending as well as the young man that's playing over at Philadelphia, the defensive lineman. So they got some really good players that's playing in the NFL right now. That's a good program over there. All respect to them. And but I picked 40. I said 45-14, man. I said we're gonna blow South Carolina State off the field, man. Didn't happen, brother. But I stand on it. I was wrong, and we got beat. That's all I got on it.
All right, so kid, I got one last question for you, and then I'm gonna try to open these call lines up to see if it works, and if it does work, I'll see if anybody got some questions for you, and then we'll. All right, so after y'all lost that Celebration Bowl, the jokes are still coming. But you guys are already looking forward to next season. What's the mindset? Like normally when teams lose a game that big, they got motivation now. Like they'll post the score of the on the walls and stuff like that. Do y'all still remind yourselves on how embarrassing the loss is? Do y'all use it as motivation?
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Everything that we see on social media, everybody that's got something bad to say about Jackson State, we see everything, we hear everything. We went into the offseason with a bad taste in our mouth. Listen to me. One word for 2022: domination. That's it. I'm telling you right now, man. I expect Jackson State to be 13-0, SWAC champions as well as Celebration Bowl champions in 2022. That's my prediction, and that's my expectation. And I don't think that my expectation is no different than the coaches and the players. No slight to anybody, but I'm saying the word for this year is domination. I think I want to beat. Listen, man, I left them SWAC groups because it just wasn't healthy for me. And I knew I'm serious, man. After we hired Coach Prime, I said, "Yep, gotta go. I'm out of here." I've been in them groups for years, man. But after we hired Coach Prime, I was just like, "Nah, I'm good, man. I ain't finna sit in here and listen to this. It's finna be rough." But honestly, man, I think everything that you hear and all the noise just makes you want to beat everybody. I will tell you right now, man. I want to whoop FAMU because they talk smack about us only beating them by 1 point. I want to bust the clock on them. I want to whoop Tennessee State bad, boy. Oh, baby. I want to beat them. I want to beat them to sleep because of all this noise behind all this Southern Heritage Classic talk. We got to get Grambling, man. Grambling, we had them beat if Keelan Elder wouldn't have fumbled the ball. I want Grambling too. You understand what I'm saying? Southern is always going to be what it's going to be, but that's the expectation, man. I think the team is going to come back focused because we didn't finish. We got goals we got to come. We did not finish the goal. We didn't finish the season, and I think the coaches and the team are going to come back with their hair on fire, man, ready to play some football, man. You're going to see a better brand of football out of Jackson State this year.
All right. So check this out. Everybody watching. All right, we got about 370 people in here. Listen, I'm gonna try to open up. Yeah. Open up these call lines, man. Shout out to Smack Buzz. Shout out to Script for helping me set this
man. Hey, let me say this, man. You call in, hey, man, I talk back. So just so y'all know, I'm nice, but don't get on this line talking crazy, man. I No, I'm just messing with you. I'm let's have some fun with it, man. Who you got?
Let me open this up. All right, let me see. We're gonna set this thing up.
There are 4 participants in the conference.
Oh, man. Okay.
All right.
Well, first, who we got?
Let me see.
Please announce yourself.
All right, let me take one caller. All right, caller, you live. Talk to me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
Hey, this is Mr. Ford out of Atlanta. How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Ford, what's going on with you, sir?
How you doing, Mr. Ford? What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to holler at y'all. And the first thing I want to talk about is I love Dr. Charles McClellan, but one thing he got to do is he got to put his foot down about this unprofessionalism that's being demonstrated by these officials at these football games. The best officiated game this year was that during Celebration Bowl, and that was not SWAC officials. Something's got to be done about the officiating. The officiating was lousy this year. It was obvious that a lot of them guys are incompetent. Okay, and that I said this to all script. They need to bring in that guy Jerome Bogle from the NFL, and he needs to give clinics to them SWAC officials. My second thing is, with us getting all of these Super Bowl players into the SWAC, position coaching has to step up. Now, my biggest problem with Jackson State was that offensive line coach. personally, I thought he should have been dismissed. The way that offensive line looked this year, I thought that guy should have been dismissed. And I want to say this to your guests. To me, now this is me. I'm a Grambling man too. I'm a graduate of Grambling. But I tell everybody, you don't have to worry about the offense at Southern University. If they get that front seven right at Southern University, I can't think of the guy's name. He brought him over from Prairie View. If they get the defensive front seven right at Southern, baby, Southern is back. I'm telling you, I have watched Eric Dooley from way back. I remember when Eric Dooley was on the staff, was on Pete Richardson's staff with Mark Orlando and what's that guy? It was a Japanese guy, a Korean guy was the defensive coordinator. I can't think of his Yoshida or something. He was the defense coordinator at that time. Selma, Johnny Cole was on that staff. They ran something called a hobo offense because that's a lot of what Eric is doing, not what Dooley's doing now. But I'm just telling you now, if Southern gets their front seven right, the Jags are back. I'm telling you. Well, listen, I always end my call by saying, y'all got any questions for me? Did y'all want to ask me anything?
I don't have any questions, but I'm going to touch on all three things that he mentioned. And that's it.
All right. I'm going to hang up and listen to y'all then, okay?
All right.
All right. First thing first is I agree 100% on the officiating. I think we all can collectively agree that the SWAC officiating is going to have to get better across the board. He made a good point. Celebration Bowl they let them play. You know what I'm saying? They had some really good officials. I want to say, what was it? The Compass USA officials. I think that's where they came from. Yeah. And it was good to kind of see them the way they managed the game. But SWAC officiating has been bad for quite some time, man. I think I don't know, how they address that, but I think if enough coaches, go to the commissioner, maybe we see that improve. I like the suggestion. As far as the offensive line coach, the biggest thing with coaching staffs is that I'm of the mindset that I think whenever you have a coach that hires a staff, we can give opinions about what we feel like that coach should do in regards to his staff, but I never try to get in a space of telling the coach what they should or shouldn't do, or who they should keep or who they shouldn't keep. At the end of the day, even though we might have struggled, we really did well by winning the conference. Like we can, there's a level that we need to get to dominate like we really want to. But I'll say this about the offensive line. Like I said, no excuses, but our offensive line was 60% of our offensive line was from holdovers from the previous regime. It wasn't. I feel like that's the one area where we saw a lot of talent come to the roster. We didn't really see a lot of offensive line. Matter of fact, one of the offensive linemen that we signed did not show up. We never seen Maljon Jordan. Never. He was part of the commitment from the first class. He never made it to the team. Dylan Spencer, after the first game, wound up leaving the team. So when you lose some good depth and you start going through attrition, I think a lot of that had a part to play in that. So I think the biggest thing is I feel like Coach Prime gave the offensive line coach an opportunity to correct the issues that he felt was there, and I think he went out there and addressed that. So let's see what he does this year. I think we all agreed at the beginning of the show that so far we got 6 new Tigers at the offensive line, and we're expecting them to be a jolt to the offensive line room. So we'll see. I think if the offensive line struggles tremendously after this signing class, then maybe we see some changes. I don't know, but again, that's going to come down to the head coach. And but I also agree when it comes to Southern. Let me say something about this, man. It's nothing like being at home. And one thing about people can poo-poo the Dooley hire, but Dooley, when I first started really paying attention to Southern, Dooley was on Southern staff under Pete Richardson. And Coach Dooley is an offensive mind. He recruits extremely well out of the state of Louisiana. And to have been over there in the state of Texas for quite a little while and to be able to establish a relationship with those coaches, I think Dooley's going to continue to recruit. He's going to continue to bring in some good talent. And he makes a good point because one thing that Dawson Odoms left that Southern University staff with and that is a really good offensive line and defensive line. Jordan Lewis was the FCS Defensive Player of the Year in the spring. He entered the portal, but he's coming back. And Ja'Tari Carter is playing in the he's got invited to the combine, played in the Senior Bowl, so we can very well see Ja'Tari Carter now get called on in the draft. So if you go back into Dawson Odom's recruiting philosophy, he always recruited inside out. Always had more offensive linemen and defensive linemen than any other position, and that's why Southern was always tough. Southern always was fast, but I thought this year we recruited to match the speed, and in some regards, I ain't gonna say surpass it. I thought we matched the speed, and but we got faster this year. So we'll see. I'm glad he said that because guess what, Kobe?
What?
Southern's on our schedule. So for all you, their schedule is weak. I don't want to hear that. Southern on our schedule too. Go ahead.
All right, let's take another call at 9387. You up next, my guy. Caller, you live. Talk to me.
What up, CFL to Smash, man? I was wondering what the hell was going on. But look, hey man, excuse me. I had a question. I got a statement. You said something so important, bro. I was debating with somebody maybe a couple of weeks ago about how the SWAC, the Celebration Bowl ain't always been here. So we never really had it to look forward to. So the SWAC championship is what we shoot for, of course. You know what I'm saying? And when you said that the Celebration Bowl is the SWAC championship, so they're a little hungry for it even more, that's fact. You know, a lot of people say he was making excuses, but that is simply fact. Now the SWAC just got to step it up and, you know, just look forward to the Celebration Bowl, but let's not act like the SWAC championship is still not a big deal. That's what I don't want to go amiss because it's still the SWAC championship. Nevertheless, I do think they need to figure out some kind of way the MEAC need to get a championship game because I've been saying that shit wouldn't fail. That's another point. And you, my God, y'all saying about this damn Gremlin game, y'all owe Gremlin an ass for boycotting y'all that year. Remember that year they ain't come to y'all homecoming?
I did mention that. I mentioned that. We plan. We got something for them on the 17th. We got to beat them, man. I don't want to beat them, and I don't want it to be. I don't want to just beat them. I want to beat them bad, man. I don't want it to be close. I want to beat everybody bad. But to your point, I mean that's all. Like I said, when you're stating your opinion on something, it's not that you're making an excuse. What happened. It ain't going. Man, hell, South Carolina State Celebration Bowl champion. Now we can talk about it. But I do feel like that game, man. Like I said, there's something to that. If you never won a championship, the emotional, like to get, man. Listen, he made a really good point just then. The Celebration Bowl is only 7 years old. Man, it used to be, hey man, win the SWAC. That was it. But now you add a different element to it where we have to go play another game. I'm not saying that we don't take that game serious. I think South Carolina State beating Jackson State, I think that is going to be the turning point for the SWAC. And we're going to have to definitely step it up and take the Celebration Bowl. I ain't going to say take it more serious. I'm saying we're going to have to do something different. Whether it be celebrate for a short period of time and then back to business.
I'm saying that. I'm saying it. I'm not down in the Celebration Bowl, but I don't want us for a second to act like winning like championship ain't a big deal. And that shit
it's an absolute big deal.
Like, and people always talk about
Man, ask FAMU, is it a big deal? Because I can tell you like this right here. FAMU could have went to the SWAC championship opposed to going to play against Southeast Louisiana. They'll choose the SWAC championship. I guarantee you they will. Like the SWAC championship is that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal.
It's only a matter of time before FAMU opt over to won't go to that damn Celebration Bowl. When they realize they ain't getting no fucking money and can't beat some fucking teams over there, they're going to be trying to go to the Celebration Bowl too. So I don't want to say that. I'm calling that early, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to call lines. I appreciate you for hitting me, Doc.
All right, bro. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, he make a good point, man. I mean, like I said, I'm just saying, when you don't have that, it's like, man, you know what I'm talking about, bro. You know, you drink, man, or whatever it is, whatever your vice is, whatever you like, whatever it is that give you that culmination of whatever you're doing, ain't nothing like the culmination. And when you get a championship based off your record,
right,
and you don't really have a game to like solidify it as an athlete, you go into the Celebration Bowl like this is our championship game. So I just felt like the hunger level coming out of the MEAC is just maybe a little bit greater than the SWAC because the SWAC just celebrated, and now we gotta get our emotions intact, bro. Keep in mind, bro. This is deep December. School is out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go play a football game. You see what I'm saying? And it's just anyway. No excuses. It is what it is. We got to figure it out. Kudos to the MEAC for winning. They 6-1, I think, or 5-1, whatever it is. Kudos to them. No excuses though. We'll figure it out.
All right, y'all. We got a couple more calls, and I'm gonna let him go. All right, we done. I don't want to take up too much of his time. We done had him on a long time over here, so
I'm about to go drink. About to go get my drinky drink on, baby.
Yes. All right, Carly, you lie. Talk to me. Carly, live, talk to me. Hello?
It might be.
40 seconds.
I got one question.
There we go.
Who will wear number 12?
Easy answer. I don't know. No. Honestly, if I had to take a guess, this is just a guess because I don't know how this is gonna go. I think maybe Cam might give up 12 for Travis Hunter, and you may see Cam go to number 1, or either Travis Hunter's gonna wear number 1 and Cam's gonna keep number 12. That's a good question, man. Because I'll say this: if you go to our we did see Travis Hunter taking some pictures the other day in the Jackson State uniform. He had number 12 on. So I was like, maybe we see Cam change his number. I don't know, man, but that might be a sensitive subject. Cam, don't come for me. I love you, little bro. I don't know. I know they was on the live not too long ago together. And I don't know, man. That's a great question, though. I guess we'll find out when we go to I guess maybe we find out in the spring game. I don't know. We'll see though. That's a good question though, man. I'm even anxious to see that.
All right, appreciate your call, man. I gotta let you go. All right, last caller, man. This caller been on here for a long time. At least last caller for Ken. I'm gonna stay on a little bit longer. All right, caller, you live. Talk to me.
What's good, Ken?
What's this? Who I'm talking to, man?
You know who this is.
No, I don't.
Hey, this the Big A.
Who?
Who's
that? Oh shit! This ain't the big Aristotle, is it?
It is.
Oh, that's my brother. What's up, baby?
What's good, man?
Introduce yourself to the family. Come on, man. You got to introduce yourself.
Hey. To everybody on the call, this is the Big Aristotle from the 1400 Tiger Talk.
Okay.
My voice is Clark and Zoe and Corey C. So, man, look, I want to say job well done, gentlemen. Kobe, Ken. Indeed, that's definitely a great job for you, gentlemen. I'm happy for you. But, Ken, I do got a question.
All right, brother. I'm a little nervous now, man, because Shaq is the. Hey, I'm gonna say this before you ask that question. Paradigm Prime came from this man right here, and he did. He was the one. He was the brains behind that show, from Tiger Talk to 1400 Club and the research, and even he called it, and it was just a casual conversation. We was like, bro, we got to put that on wax, man, because he was talking about the importance of Sam Bam Cunningham and how that was the turning point for Black college football. And but man, I appreciate you calling in, bro. What you got for me, Doc? Make it don't put me on blast in front of everybody, man. You know, I'm a little nervous now. What you got for me, brother?
This is not blast. This is a curiosity question for all callers too as well. With the changing landscape that we have in college athletics with NIL, the transfer portal, what do you guys see as the next shoe to drop that is going to continue to change the landscape for HBCUs? That's it.
What do we feel is going to be the next shoe to drop that's going to change the landscape of college football?
That's a good question.
You want to take that one first, Kobe? What do you think?
The next shoe to drop? Like just anything? Like just anything?
Well, I mean, when you factor in, there's a lot of things that have changed, man, over the past, let's say the last decade. You know, one big thing that come to mind with this NIL. NIL has been a game changer in college football. Transfer portal has been a big thing. I think the next big thing, I'll see what you think. I got something in mind that I think is gonna that may be the next big thing. And I don't know if this will happen, but matter of fact, let me just go into it. This is what I think is gonna eventually wind up happening. I think that there's gonna be eventually, due to NIL and realign, I think there's gonna be a college football realignment at some point, where maybe NIL has something to do with, instead of there being this FBS versus FCS, I think it goes to more of a can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, there we go. I had accidentally muted you. I think it's going to be more of a realignment. I think the big boys are going to eventually, because this is what I think. Coach Prime is a monkey wrench in the wheel of status quo and things that we used to. And a lot of things have changed since he's kind of come to the SWAC and brought a lot of attention, and HBCUs are hot. I just feel like, I just feel like Power Fives and the big money players are always trying to stay ahead of the game and keep themselves separated. You know, we're talking about leveling the playing field. I think what wound up happening is, what's going to happen is that you're going to see them do something that's going to separate them from the effects of what you're kind of seeing happening. I don't know what that's going to be, but when you start seeing the small guys chip away from the big boys, the big boys just might come back and form some type of coalition. They put their money together and they might do we're going to do something completely different that's going to completely revolutionize college football. Because I'm going to just be honest with you, I don't think the power structure is something that the big players really want to see. And here's what I mean by that. Let's just go, I'll give you one example and I'm done. We got into some dialogue about this because remember the SWAC came out and talked about, there's an opportunity. Well, it was reported that we could play UAPB or somebody over in Birmingham 2022. That was already out there. Now we're going to be playing Tennessee State this year. We're trying to figure out do we still play that game? Do we drop that game? Which it caused us to have to go do some research. Hell, I went and looked at Alabama's schedule. Alabama starts their season the same time we start theirs, and they finish theirs the week of Thanksgiving. So the question I had was why does FBS schools get to play 12 games, but FCS schools can't? You see what I'm saying?
Right. So
the rules that are in place are always to keep them ahead of the curve. But when you bring a staple or somebody like a Deion Sanders to the FCS world, and you start allowing the FCS teams to catch up, and you start seeing FCS teams like Jackson State and Campbell, Grambling, Southern, and these guys get close to these big boys, I think the thing that you're going to see change is I think you're going to see some more realignment. Don't forget Texas and Oklahoma is going to the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about that. We don't know. Don't forget that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten done form some coalition. You may see them decide that they're gonna break away from this NCAA. We don't know. I just think that with change comes revolution. Travis Hunter signs with Jackson State. Man, that pissed off a lot of people, man. That pissed off a lot of people. And I can tell you right now, there's a lot of silent conversations that's going on behind closed doors trying to figure out how the heck can they do that. Then you got a Jimbo Fisher signs the #1 class because they openly came out and used NIL.
Right.
Let's just call it what it is. You pay players $50K out the gate, it's a whole different ball game. They've been doing it, but now you give the big players with an unlimited bag and a blank check to go, sign players. I mean, we just don't know, man. I just think there's a lot going on with the transfer portal. Maybe we start seeing some regulations or whatever the case may be. But I think the next big thing is going to be maybe I think you see a complete reformation of college football. I don't know, man. But one thing I would like to see the SWAC become the first FBS conference, man. See us all elevate as a whole so we can start getting some of that big long money. I mean, we all got an opportunity to capitalize on this bag, man. It's enough out there for everybody. But, man, like I said, bro, I appreciate you for bringing me on, man. Shout out to you guys out there in the YouTube space that's doing y'all thing. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing. Like I told DJ on his show, don't nobody owe Jackson State positive commentary, brother. Opinions are welcome. But if you give your opinion, we got the right to come back and give you our opinion if we disagree with it. That's the beauty of opinions. But facts don't replace opinions. Facts are what they are, and a fact can never be an opinion unless it's aligned with that. So, man, I've enjoyed this, man. It's been fun talking. I talk to all the time, man. And like I said, for all of your listeners, you got 370 some people on this live, and I need all 370 of y'all to go to Spotify, go to Apple Music. If you're not subscribed to Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club, man, just go to the app, look us up.
Please do.
And subscribe, man. Tune in. Like I said, we got over 230 plus shows that's on tap right now. We got a new show that's about to drop soon. I did an interview with Quay Davis. Phenomenal interview, man. Phenomenal interview. Love that kid, man. I didn't say his name, but I definitely want to shout him out because whenever Corey decides to, whenever we drop it and upload it, it might be tonight, might be tomorrow, but be on the lookout for that. If you haven't, go tune in to the interview we did with Simi Mwala. We got baseball kicking off. We're gonna try to get some interviews from a baseball standpoint. We got women's basketball. Got a shout out to Coach Tamika Reed. Got a SWAC winning streak going on right now. The women's basketball, #1 in the country.
We're
gonna win it. Hey, and you heard it here first. The Jackson State women's basketball team gonna win an NCAA game this year. You heard it here first, man. Telling you. So anyway, anybody, you got anything else for me, bro, before we get off?
I don't see nobody else in the comments, but hey, thank you so much, bro. Ken, I really appreciate this. This was so much fun. Again, y'all, this is Ken Clark.
One more thing, bro. DJ Hat. I know we man, marketing is everything. Tap into readenterprise.com. REED enterprise.com. Thad Reed, man, all the dope. Listen, I got this from Thad. Man, I done spent so much money with Thad. I told Thad, man, he's gonna have to put me on his tax return, man. He got nothing but dope gear. But Thad is one of the founders of the 1400 Club. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Greg. Shout out to CJ. I mean, not CJ. Sayed. Shout out to Thad. The whole entire 1400 Club family. But readenterprise.com if you want a J hat. Like I said, support the cause. And I'm going to ask y'all for one more thing because this is something that I thought about. Kobe, I'm going to leave this for you.
Okay.
For all of you guys, all you content creators that's out there in YouTube, I'm going to challenge y'all for something. Hey, man, you can talk about Jackson State all day long. But when them Jackson State football season tickets drop, I want all the content creators to go on and buy a set of season tickets and use them season tickets. You can maybe give one of your listeners, if you're not going to make the game, man, get that ticket to one of those, send it to somebody, one of your listeners or one of your subscribers. Let's get creative with it. And I'm saying, we trying to put money back into the pot, man. Season tickets, readenterprise.com for the J hat, DJ hat, and all Jackson State content and material, clothing. Hey man, it's all love. Hey man, when you travel in the airport and you got on Jackson State gear, man, everybody look, man, it's the hottest merch in the world, baby. I'm just saying, man.
Hey,
I don't know if Thad was watching, but real talk though, Thad got the best merch out there. So that's what we started that. I still don't know who's behind that DJ hat Twitter page. It's funny. I love it. But definitely if you want one of them hats, man, you can definitely go on the website. But listen, man, if you don't do nothing else, Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club, tune in, man, and we continue to support Kobe, good brother. But like I said, man, love you, bro. But you get out there wrong, you say the wrong thing, we coming for you, man. I ain't gonna be able to stop Tiger Nation. Get on you. You know, we're a rowdy bunch.
Yeah,
we don't play, man, about our Tigers, man. We don't play about our Tigers, man. We're sensitive about our Tigers, man. Call it what you want to call it, but this is what we do, man. So that's it.
Hey, all love, man. I appreciate you so much, bro. Again, y'all, special guest Ken Clark of the Illustrious Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club, man. This was so much fun, and I got to get you back on the show, bro, for sure.
Yeah, man. Any one of them, man. Shout out to I'm gonna tell y'all, man, who y'all need to go get, man. Go get Zoe, man. Tap into that Joker. He might be watching. I don't know, but Zoe, I can't wait to see Zoe get out here at some point. But listen, I'm not one to always try to get on anything. But you reached out to me, you asked, hey man, shout out to DJ, shout out to you. You know, it'll be a minute probably before you see me out in YouTube again. But again, you'll hear us on our podcast, man. Thank you for the support, and we appreciate the listeners, the good questions, and man, keep it positive, man. In the end, you know, rise the tide, lift all boats. You know, we want to see everybody win, but I'm gonna make no mistake about it, man. We trying to bust the clock on y'all this year. 13-0, SWAC champions, Celebration Bowl champions. If you don't like it, show up and beat us on Saturday. And for you, fam, you on Sunday. And we ain't gonna apologize about that. When our schedule come out Monday, whenever it come out, we know everybody gonna go crazy again. If you talking smack and you a SWAC school, all I'm gonna tell you to do is show up on Saturday and beat us. I don't want to hear nothing else. That's it. Ain't got nothing else to say about that.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man.
All right, brother. All the best to you, man. Take care.
My pleasure. Hey, of course we had to leave with that. Of course. So, hey, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here first. If you're a fan of any other school, you know what you got to do. All right, but if y'all want to talk to me a little bit, you can definitely call in. There's a number. I know we got some callers still on the line, so let me go ahead because y'all been waiting long enough. Hold on. Caller, you live. Talk to me.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing? This is Frank from California. How you doing?
How you doing? Okay, Callie in the building. What's going on with you, Frank?
And much. Me and you've been doing a little dialogue back and forth on you and everything. I was trying to see how you get in when Ken was still on the radio on your podcast, man. I wanted to ask him, you know, about the DB situation. You know, I mean, I feel there's a strength there, but I think it's one weak link, and that's Shador, man. Not Shador, his brother Silo, man. I mean, like he's a big hitter and everything, but his coverage, man, is kind of suspect, man. It got exposed in the last two games, in the SWAC championship game, and also the Celebration Bowl. You know, and I'm like, okay, man, is he doing anything to work on that or what? I mean, I know that's his pops and everything, this and that, but I mean, sometimes, man, you know, hey, you know, your chain link is only as strong as your chain is only as strong as the link is, man. And sometimes his link is a little bit suspect.
So here's the thing, right? He's not the best cover DB on that team, right? By a long shot. But I think because some of the plays that he gave up was just in the spotlight at the wrong time, you got to look at him as if he can't cover at all. I don't think that's true. I think he can. Can he get better? Yes. And I think he knows that, and I think he's working on that in the offseason. Do I think he's horrible in coverage? No, I don't. I just think that, you know, those plays that he gave up was just horrible timing, right? To get turned around like how he did, how Quay Davis did him in the national championship on national television. You know, that didn't help his case. But yeah, I think he's working on it. That's something that he's always had to work on. I mean, even when he was at the Gamecocks, he's been working on that heavily in the offseason and stuff like that. So hopefully he can get better. And I mean, one thing we know about Coach Prime is that even if he doesn't progress in that area of his game, he just won't be on the field. You know, like him being Coach Prime's son is not gonna change anything. If Shiloh is messing up, Shiloh will be on the sideline, or he will be moved somewhere that could better fit his skill set. But you know, that's just that's all I can say about Shiloh. He's working because he knows that's something that he needs to get better at. But you know, to call him, you know, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to call him the weak link of the secondary. I do. But he's going to get better. He's going to work at it. And at the end of the day, that's all you could ask for. Hopefully he gets better next season. If not, look to see what's his name? John, I believe, the kid from Florida, the transfer from Florida who played last year. Look to see him in that spot instead.
Right. Okay, I understand what you're saying there. Now, one more thing, and I'm gonna get off the air. Another thing, man, I was really, I was hyped because I thought for sure I was gonna get one of those two boys, Stewart or what's the other one that went to
Harold Perkins,
LSU. But anyway, I thought we was gonna get one of them for sure, man. Like I said, another thing too. I noticed that JSU. The uniform. Now they're trying to order me one for the longest. I can't find it. I got the sweatshirt, the hat, and everything else, but I cannot find a uniform to save me.
All right, so with that uniform thing, Shiloh has posted a couple of sites that sell those jerseys. Even I don't know where to, like, if y'all know where to get gear from, send me some gear, please. I would love something in this background. I can't even tell you where to get gear from, homie. The best thing I can do is tell you to go to the bookstore for Jackson State or whoever your respective school is and try to do your best there. But I don't even know where you can get merch from. I think Ken just said it. Ken just said it a couple minutes ago, but I don't forgot the name already. But yeah, all I can tell you is go to the bookstore on the website, try to find it there. Read Enterprise. Yeah, Read Enterprise. You can try Read Enterprise online, and look there. That's the best I can do.
I'm gonna let you go. Kurt. Once again, man, you're doing a great job, man. Keep the good work up, dude. I mean, I'm subscribed to you, man. When I get a chance, I'm gonna hit you up on the app and everything too. Man, like I said, I think you and DJ, and what's the other guy named, was it Jeff Lighty?
Yeah, Jeff Lighty.
I think one day, man, all three of y'all need to get on at the same time, man. I mean, y'all do wonderful work.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Work, dude. All right, stay up, dude.
All right, you too. Hey, this fireplace ain't gonna be here forever. I'm telling y'all, like, as soon as I get something to replace this or just put over this, it's gone. Like, it's not gonna be here forever. I promise y'all that. All right, let me see. Get to these calls. Caller, you live? Talk to me.
Hey, this is Miss Ford. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I wanted to do was take on that last question that caller asked you and the brother from 1400 Klub. He said, what's going to be the changes? The number one change, you getting ready to see the Power 5 schools separate from the NCAA. That's the number one thing that you're getting ready to see. The other thing is this, and a lot of people are going to be upset about this. All of these black conferences are going to have to combine. The MEAC, the SWAC, the SIAC, the CIAA are going to have to combine. If they don't combine, their athletic programs are going to go defunct. They're going to be eliminated because we're going into an era now. If you got bad administrative leadership like the majority of these black schools have, they are going to go bankrupt. And the person that they need to combine under is this Dr. McClellan. Now, I wanted to say, the guy who was with you, the guy from the 1400 Klub, he said about the students getting $50,000 at Texas A&M. The report I read, each child is getting at least $200,000. The alumni paid between $20 to $30 million to sign this signing class. But the one thing I want y'all to all remember, always keep this in mind, Jimbo Fisher can't coach. I don't give a damn how many good players they get at Texas A&M. They are not going to win that SEC West, and he definitely ain't going to win no national championship.
Hey.
Now, the other thing I wanted to say before your man left was that the FAMU people are saying if they come to the Celebration Bowl in 2022, they're going to bring between 60 to 70,000 fans to Atlanta. Let me see what else I had here.
60 or 70.
I think that's everything. But yeah, I just want you to understand that now, that we're fixing to go into some financially hard times because America getting ready to go into a war. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but this thing between America and Russia is real. And it's gonna turn into some shooting there real soon. And money is gonna dry up. And that's why I'm saying these conferences are gonna have to unite. And if they don't unite, you're gonna see a lot of black schools that have had teams in the past. That's what it's going to be. Them teams going to be history. Because you got too many black schools that are mismanaged from the academic part of it to the athletic side of it. And so they're going to have to combine. If they don't combine, a lot of these black schools are not going to have athletic programs. Did you have any questions for me before I
You
go?
said how much of those kids getting paid again? I want to.
The minimum is $200,000.
Good Lord.
Yeah, see, Texas A&M alumni are all people. They put together $20 to $30 million to sign that signing class. They kept saying why that boy didn't come to Jackson State. He wanted to come to Jackson State, but them people bought him off. They bought him off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, thank you so much for the info, Mr. Ford. That's crazy.
Okay, have a good one here.
All right, you too now.
All right.
Good Lord, 200K. All right, let me get this last call out. Let me get this last call out the way. All right, caller, you live. Talk to me.
Hey, how you doing? This is Nate from Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. Family Dad. First of all, wonderful show, man. I'm learning a lot about football. I'm marching band in college. I marched. Shout out to the Marching 100. But I didn't really know the game, so I'm learning a lot. But anyway, the two things. The last caller, he mentioned something about mismanagement of funds in academics and athletics at HBCUs. The thing you got to understand, and of course I don't know too much about this, but it's, athletics are expensive, especially the football. To fund a football team is crazy expensive. So that's for any school. You're going to have issues.
Right.
So I do agree with him though that, the HBCUs, we do need to form some kind of correlation where we start supporting one another. So that way the smaller schools, the history and everything doesn't go down the drain. But it's not so much. I don't think it's so much. I mean, unless he has numbers to back it up, it's just any small school. It's crazy expensive to maintain. And a lot of universities, the projection is that a lot of universities are going to die out in the near future. HBCUs the past couple of years have been doing better, more than the average school, with all that's going on. The other thing is that I really, with South Carolina State and Jackson State, what do you think about this? Because I really think that South Carolina State came into the game with humility. I saw a video of them. I think it was HBCU game day, and they were in awe when they walked in the stadium. Compared to Jackson State, they were just walking in there like, "Oh, we own this. This is ours. We used to this." And so I think that had something to do with it. And also the coach is just crazy. He's so impressive. I would play for him, and I don't know how to play football. So what do you think about that? Just wanted to hear what you got to say about that.
All right, so I know a lot of I talked to a lot of players in the South Carolina State football program, and they told me they have humility about them. They don't have the top facilities, they don't have the biggest budget, they have one of the lowest budgets as a matter of fact, but they're a family and they take pride in the fact that they're homegrown and they don't have the flash, but they're still able to put kids in the league, etc. So every single time that Ashley Robinson or Keontae Hampton or anybody said something online, they had a group chat and they was sending that stuff around, for bulletin board material. They kept that. they kept that and they used that as motivation. So yeah, a part of it was them coming in because they are humble, but Jackson State did themselves no favors with the bulletin board material that they gave, right? South Carolina State, like as a whole, as a program, they're humble. That's who they are. That's who they're always going to be.
Yeah.
But as soon and you know, a lot of people don't notice. Jablonski even said during this interview at the what you call it, the banquet, like Jackson State players were talking to them at the banquet, like talking trash at the banquet. They did themselves no favors. Jackson State players did themselves no favors, right? So yeah, all y'all did was really all they did was really, you know, add fuel to the fire. Now, as far as Jackson State going into those big stadiums and not looking surprised, well, a lot of those kids come from Power 5 schools. So no, I didn't expect them to be as shocked or starstruck by that magnificent stadium that the Falcons have. But these kids who play for South Carolina State, a lot of them wasn't ranked. A lot of them didn't have the chance to play at Florida or, you know, whatever FBS school it was. So yeah, it hit a little bit different to them because they don't really get the opportunity to play in stadiums like that on a regular basis. And I don't think it's a bad thing that Jackson State came into that stadium like rock stars, because that's who they are, right? They're flashy, they're confident, they're cocky, and I love that about them because I think it's necessary. But there's a line that you cross from being cocky to being arrogant, and they, you know, in that time span, they crossed the line, and that's just what happened. They lost and backfired on them.
Yeah. Just one last thing I wanted to say. The thing about the NIL deal and that amount of money to a kid coming out of high school and getting $200,000 or even $100,000 or even $50,000, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And again, I really think it's going to change. It can change these kids, not in a positive way. I don't know if they have some kind of way where they could save that money for these kids, give them a portion of it and save it to when they graduate or when they leave. Boom, they have a pocket of money. But to, you know, if they're just getting it like that, I hope they're giving them financial education at the same time, because I think some of these kids, it might mess them up.
That's a great point. A great point. I think financial literacy needs to be taught to these kids, especially from the ones who come from nothing, right? And who's getting this money, and it's like a game changer to them because they've never seen this amount of money at one time. We've all been 18, 19, 20, like we've all been that age before. And if you would have gave me that amount of money at that age, I was going to blow through that thing. I was already blowing through the little $20, $30 something my mom was giving me in college. You feel me? Like I was blowing through that. So imagine what I would have did with that kind of money. So yeah, you make a great point. Financial literacy needs to be taught, financial responsibility, all those things, because just as quickly as that money come, that money can go with kids that age, right? Because they get the opportunity to get things that they never had before, and they can go a little crazy. So yeah, that's a great point. That is definitely a concern in this new NIL era, and I hope that systems are set in place by these programs to help these kids manage their money. Otherwise, you're gonna hear a lot of sad stories, unfortunately, by the time it's all over with.
Yeah, but man, thank you for the call, and wonderful job, you and Jeff Lightsey and Blue Blood and one other person. You guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Talk about off script.
We really appreciate you guys. Keep it up, man.
All right, hey, thank you so much.
Watch out for the family rattlers.
Appreciate you. All right. Hey, time is about 9:30. I gotta go get something to eat. Everything closed early down here. I don't live in no city. I stay on. I'm gonna have to go to Waffle House or something. But hey, listen, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the live, right? Y'all showed out in a major way, bigger than I would have even expected it. Absolutely love y'all and the support that y'all give. We are on the road to 10K. We just passed 6. Let's aim for 10 by the time this year is over with. Really appreciate y'all. A lot of love. The part 2 to the South Carolina State's recruiting class is going to come in the next couple of days because I'm shifting the ticket to the MEAC before I get back to the SWAC. So after South Carolina State, you'll see Norfolk, you'll see Delaware State. Howard. You know, I'm gonna get to all those schools. But hey, any other questions before I get up out of here? Mario, I appreciate you. You know that. Buddy Pugh needs him. Buddy Pugh, yeah. Buddy Pugh need his flowers, bro. Trust me. North Carolina Central. You know, I have been neglecting North Carolina Central for so long, and that's on me at this point. I apologize to anybody who's a fan of North Carolina Central, bro. Like, seriously, they might be the one team I overlook just completely in the MEAC. I'll pay more attention to Morgan State before I pay attention to North Carolina Central. So that's on me. I got to start paying attention to y'all a lot more. But hey, with that being said, bro, thank y'all so much again for tuning in. We're gonna be going live again. All right. I just gotta find somebody to come on here. Hey, keep in mind, now that I know this call-in thing works, right? When Coach Prime season 2 drops, you know, we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna get the call-in show going again. We're gonna talk about the thoughts and everything like that, because I'm gonna be interested to see what y'all gotta say about it. But hey, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in again. And this is the CFL podcast. I go by the name of Kobe. I'm out. Peace.